all these problems will continue persisting. The economic development will be a problem to us. Our education. You know, I have a nephew who is in a university somewhere, and the way this funding model has affected them, I'm worried about how are these individuals surviving these universities. How are they eating? How are they getting their accommodation? He's telling me things are very, very difficult. And even when I was there, like 10 years ago, life already was difficult for us. But if you compare the life back then and today, the cost of living has gone up. But remember, whatever they are getting is still the same. Actually, the funding model has even thrown everything out of proportion. Things are difficult for them. Who causes all this? It's the executive arm of the government. You can see how it's affecting us. So unless we change the governance of this country, we shall be going back to ground zero all the time. We think we've made steps forward, and then we go back to where we were formerly. So we have to find ways of reforming the governance of this country. How are we going to do this? Civic education. Civic education is very, very important. We have better civic education and everyone gets to understand how governance affects this country, how governance is the one that affects the taxes that you are paying, affects the education, the economy. If we ensure as many people as possible know that, then we are going to end up voting in the right individuals to these positions. If we have good individuals in this position of the executive, then we are going to have all these problems, at least many of them solved. Yeah, I hope we do that. So we continue the civic education. Like now, these spaces that we are having, we are doing civic education. There are people moving around doing civic education, and I really congratulate them and wish them well that we continue in this track. We are changing this country. Please let us all be involved. Don't give up. This is our country. Don't have another country. Yeah, and I hope they're going to change it. Thank you. That was my submission for today.
Thank you so much, Bwana Luka Matoke, for that submission. I see Malia Davis, I think amefika kwa nyumba. Ladies and gentlemen, Home Run with Vivi is supported by you, the listener. If you like what I'm doing, of course, there's a tip jar line where you can drop your support. Malia, habari yako siku ya leo?
Nzuri, habari ya kushinda.
Njema kabisa, nashukuru.
Okay, thank you. So, for me, I'm not going to be an idealist. Where we are in this country, Matiang'I is a step up from where we are. So there are other people who are being idealistic, and of which we should aspire to high ideals, but we also have to be realist. Where are we? Who do we have? Because these other people that we are talking about, they have not expressed any interest. You know? They have not expressed any interest in the presidency. The former CJ, Maraga, and Okio Mtata, who is an activist and now a senator, has not expressed any interest. So the person who has expressed thus far is Mr. Matiang'I. So for me, he will have my vote if he comes to run. We have to look at many factors when we are thinking about an opponent for Ruto. We can get an opponent like Morara, who is very fresh, very green, you know, as much as people are also saying he's also a mole. But you see, becoming a president in Kenya and in most African countries is not, you can't just come from being a layman and then you become an activist, then the next thing you become a president. It doesn't work like that. You need to know how government works, and that's why you see for Ruto, it was an easy. Most presidents were not having it easy. Like Kibaki, he tried, I think, 4 times before he was successful. But he had a knowledge of how the government works, and that's why he was one of the, if not the best president that we had. So our problem, someone has said that the executive is the problem. That's not the problem. Let me tell you. The problem that we have in Kenya is we have become hyper-capitalist. So when I am an MP, when I become an MP, I'm not thinking of going to be an MP to serve my people. I'm thinking of how, because you need to ask yourself, these people who come and campaign with a lot of money, and then they are going for a position. You've seen all these positions which people are being nominated for and they are being vetted. They are being asked, why are you coming for a job for 1 million when your net worth is 5 billion? Why? You can generate more than that in your businesses. I remember Joho saying that his family doesn't even need to do business with government because they have too much business. They're even overwhelmed by the business they have. They don't need to do any business with the government at all. So why are the people so keen that you want to be a CS, you want to be nominated PS, you want to be given a seat here, you want to become an MP? It's not to serve the people. So let's not blame. You know, there is somebody who said, even these people who go to that executive, they come from our society. So we need to look at ourselves as the problem first before we look at that Ruto is the problem. Ruto did not come from Pluto. He just came from Kenya. And whatever values he espouses, they are values which he has gained while growing up in Kenya. This is somebody who has been in Kenya all his life, more than any other president that we have had. So he has just espoused what he found on the ground. And that is what is happening. When you go to become an MP, you enter into the parliament, you join a parliamentary select committee. Once you are there, you've already started wheeler dealing. If somebody is supposed to be interrogated by you, you send emissaries to him to ask him to give you money so that you can disappear his file or vote favorably. So it is a wheeler deal. You whichever position you are in. And you see, this is now what has also happened to the judiciary. The other time we were seeing Sonko, who likes recording people, having recorded a judge, I think it was Chitembwa, when he was busy soliciting for bribes and explaining very well why who to give the bribe and all that. And that is the judiciary. You can't lie to yourself. At these people, all these people, including the Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu, she was in a scandal of being, they are caught every now and again. So the problem we have as Kenyans is that we have become lawless. We are lawless. So even you, Pipita, right now, if you get that position, when you get there, you can get there with some good ideas and some good intentions. Then you realize, number one, you're one of the poorest MPs who is there. Your colleagues, they have flats in Dubai. You, maybe you have not even bought a house. Like that guy was called Muirigi. He didn't even have a car. He didn't even have fare to come to Nairobi. And the first thing when he landed in Nairobi, was given a Prado by I think Uhuru or somebody. He was an independent candidate. So our problem is we need a tough person. I don't care what people are saying about benevolent dictator. We don't need a dictator. This country, for us to move, we need a dictator. Because, first of all, the type of cartels you have to deal with when you become a president in this country, if they don't assassinate you, I don't know. If you just toboa first of all and enter into that office, you need to be very careful, because if you are not going to be assassinated, as we have seen all these people who've tried to change the system, Akina Kaiseri, Akina Saitoti, all the people who tried to deviate, they came to an untimely demise, because it's like a shark tank, So if you come and try to stop my feeding frenzy, I'll just offset you out. So we cannot, a softy person like who is idealist, who believes, in the Constitution, who is a gentleman like Maraga, who is, soft spoken like okay. Those are not people who can be able to change this country. I can tell you for free. Here we need not even benevolent, even malevolent, if they such. We need a dictator, a bad one, because you are coming to the presidency. First of all, even that executive, the people who are working under you, they are looking for how they are going to eat. You saw the other day somebody who was an anchor, a news anchor in TV, and he went to Prime Minister's office, Mudavadi's office, and before even he has finished 2 years, he's already in cartels. They are trying to con some Europeans who want a deal of, I don't know for what. Huh? So Kenya, being a thief, has been glorified, corrupt, the so-called corruption. So this is the same problem we have in education sector, that the people who are in NEC, they want to sell the exam so that they can become rich. The teachers, they want to sell the exam so that they can become rich. The students, they want to get to steal the exam. They get marks which is not there so that they can go and do something prestigious like medicine, which will make them rich. That is the narrative across the board. If it is that CBC, teachers are looking at where can they make an extra buck from that CBC. So the teacher now is the one who is selling to them printing paper. The teacher now is the one, you become an entrepreneur wherever you are. And that is the problem that we are having. Everybody, there's nobody who is working for the growth of this country. Everyone is looking for any loophole for their own personal benefit. And we cannot grow as a society, because it gets to an extent whereby atakama we are stealing. Because when we started, like the time of Uhuru, I remember he said that 2 billion is being lost in a day in Kenya. But now you can see like NHIF to shift 1.9, before even the thing had started, it had already been looted from NHIF. Or I don't know whether it's from the collection which they have been taxing us. So now what we have is we have somebody who has studied how to eat from when he started when he left university and entered into Kanu, and now he has become the pharaoh of eating. And now everyone who is under him knows what's up. And what's up is we are here to eat. It's our turn to eat. He is not bothered with who ate before. He is not bothered with what you know is that, yeah, we need to have a semblance of the country is running, but the real agenda is how can we enrich ourselves, each and every one of us in whichever position that you are in. The first day you enter in the office, like the governor, you ask for the accountant, can you bring for me 200 million? I first of all at least have some money for my campaign from what I spent in the campaign. Then from there, it's strategizing on how are we going to eat. And such a kind of a system, it cannot be dealt with by just anybody. It needs somebody who knows the system, and it needs a very tough person. If you can remember how Matiang'I and the late Magoha worked to remove examination cheating, it was not a joke. It was not a joke. It was very serious, very, very serious. And it was militant, if you can remember. So me, my vote is with Matiang'I. I believe Matiang'I can do something. He may not be perfect. He may have done a lot of wrong things, which maybe he was directed by his seniors, because after all, he was not the president. Maybe he was directed, do this and do the other one. Or even, sometimes you might be ahead of something, like some CSs. You are a CS, but the president is working with your PS. So at times, you're not even aware of what is happening. You come to find out later, like everybody else. So perfectionism and idealism, let's put it aside. Let's take the person who is there and who is available and who can be able to help us. Excuse me. Because from the way I saw Matiang'I and how he used to work, I believe, of course, he's not an angel. He might also be corrupt and all those other things, which is normal in this country. We have all grown up in that kind of a situation. But I found him to somehow want this country to work, like make things work how they're supposed to work. If it's exams, not everybody has to get an A, because at that point, there are schools whereby the whole class is getting the whole stream, let's not talk of class, everyone who is sitting for the exam is getting an A. How? Not even A minus, A. Then when they go to med school, they cannot even last one semester. They have spoiled the chances for the people who are bright. They drop out at the end of the day. So Magoha and Matiang'I were putting across that me myself, Matiang'I, I did humanities, and you can see where I am. So it's not to say that if you get if you get an A and then you go and you are taken to medicine, is the only time you can make impact. Is the only time you can be successful in life. So me, that is a person, he has my vote 100%, unless somebody else who is quite militant, who can deal with the mess that we are in. Because this country, we need we need military type of person, to be very honest with you, on all levels. And let's not blame the executive, because we are, all of us, kwanzia the civil servant who is down, we are all looking for how can you imagine, let me tell you a real case. Messengers, you are given 10 packets of milk to cook tea. You cook 5, the other 5, you go to sell them at a subsidized rate to people. So if the milk is costing 40 bob, you are selling at 20 bob. That is the Kenya we are in. Let's not beat around the bush. So such a system, it needs somebody who is like, I don't know, Hitler or something. I don't know. Thank you. Back to you, PP.
PP.
Hii unlock button inanionyesha pambo kweli. Naona Western Shilaho ameinua mkono juu, and I also see Malia ameinua mkono juu. So I'm going to go with Malia, then go back to Western. As well, I can see a Joga in the building. Malia.
Malia has already talked, PP.
Sorry, not me.
Oh, sawa. Ajoga, talk to us.
I wanted to pick something on Malia and connect it with Western. These two great Kenyans have said something very important. Picking it up from Malia, this country, and with the person who is currently holding the highest organ of our country, hii nchi sahi haitaki mchezo. In fact, kumtoa will not be a walk in the park. This guy, I don't know if people know Ruto. Nyinyi mnamsikianga tu. Ruto will need someone who is militant, ruthless, a serious radical surgeon. A serious radical surgeon. Remember, the people who are surrounding Ruto are also serious cartels. They can get you anywhere and ensure you are down. But also know that the people, all these people again surrounding Ruto, now that election will be in form of as usual, it is through some ICT facilitated form, process, do you think Ruto doesn't have serious ICT experts? Yes. Do you think Ruto doesn't have, even as we talk now, we are just 3, but do you think he is not aware that he is going to lose? If election were to held today, he knows. So he's working on something. That take to the bank. We really need to know the kind of a person we are, and the kind that we have here. And it is key for us to know that currently nothing is literally working. That is the truth of the matter. I'm not fighting. I'm just fighting the personality in Ruto and his government. I'm not fighting him at all. But nothing is working in this government completely. And that is why, if you look at it very well, people who have done psychology are here. Why is a whole presidency plus the minister marketing, blogging, marketing the government projects, but they cannot be accountable for how the implementation is being done? Yesterday, I was speaking in a certain space that eventually went down because I was seen like someone who was attacking much. But one question I was asking one of the ladies there is, if SHA was actually, because every government procedure is when you are transitioning a project from one project the same scope and you are changing the the scope in any way, you have to do what we call a transition process, which does not go for less than 2 years. It has to be something that has to be communicated to the public early. The public have to be, that primary baseline piloting has to be done.
Either?
You're getting me, Pepita?
I'm getting you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I don't know why Pepita is not getting me. Pepita, you have a problem with your system. So one thing I was saying is, this country, as Malia was saying, doesn't need a soft person, and Ruto has mastered this very well. This country doesn't need someone who is democratic, as a democratic aspect. It needs a serious Magufuli, a serious Trump, someone who will come with a positive axle and ensure that things are done. And you know, one thing you have to know, it has to be ruthless. That, pick it from me. This country is not going to change by when people are talking here in space and then we are living here in the houses. No. People can't, the country has to come out in the street. People have to go in the street every single day. But when it reaches balloting, you have to get a ruthless dude to remove this guy and to remove all these political class plus their cartels. It is not going to be a joke. If we get in someone who will come in and say, and by the way, I say it, whether it is nonsense or not, it's fine. But Ruto is not someone you will literally move with a soft approach. No. Unless you get someone different from Matiang'I, fine, we will support. Because yesterday someone was asking me, nini mnataka nini? Amtaki Matiang'I, amtaki Ruto, amtaki Babu, amtaki Morara, amtaki Okia, mnataka nani? So we have also to be realistic and ask ourselves, what do we want so that we can take action immediately? Election is just 3 years ahead here. So what exactly do we want? Who do we want? So that we start looking at ways possible. But the person we want must be very good in areas of ICT, must really be radical in every aspect of taking, control of all these systems and sending them home. We don't want Ruto next to power, and not even Ruto, a personality in Ruto. A personality in Ruto is not someone who will take this country. You cannot run a country with emotions, propaganda, greed, marketing entities that are shell, and still expect and even dictate and still expect that there will be delivery of service. It doesn't work like that. We need someone who, and this I'm supporting what Western was saying, we need a dictator, yes, but we need a dictator who has the country at heart. A Magufuli kind of. Someone who will come radically ensure that cartels are gone, ensure that things are working. Things are not working now. So we will really need someone of such a caliber to come on board and really pump a serious blood into the system and ensure things are working. But that person will not do this alone. We will have to go to the street. We will have to mobilize the church. We will have to mobilize every person, activist, and not just pretend about it. Revolution doesn't need people who pretend. Revolution needs people who speak their mind out and can be seen in the street. Revolution needs people who can be able, not just to speak Kizungu, because this guy doesn't know Kizungu. Ruto hakuna siku ataelewa Kizungu yangu. Yeye, wewe hiyo kijana ameongea hiyo maneno hapo kwa space, tafuta huyo kijana, weka chini. Hizo ndio lugha za Ruto. And if that is what has to happen, we literally need someone. If you have someone apart from Matiang'I who can liberate or spearhead this country with our support, please bring that person on board. I'm very sure as we move along to 2027, tutakuwa na mchujo. All these people will be put on. The only thing now we need as a country is to be able to consolidate everyone of like mind together. Ensure we are pulling together. We need to approach this thing with a lot of humility amongst us, with a lot of understanding amongst us, without war amongst us, without fear amongst us, and push. Those things you hear like Pipita sijui ameweka kwa payroll nini, hizo vitu are not good. We just need to bring everyone on board and push everyone forward. Support where you can. If you have some few coins, send to Pipita, namba yake iko hapo juu, au usikuje hapa kusema urudishiwe. Let us learn as Kenyans to know what kind of war we are fighting. This is not a joke. And in fact, the person who is in power is really enjoying. Now, he has decided to employ even ministers to be bloggers. Everyone is blogging from the government and they really know how to counteract. There is a guy drawing very funny cartoons. They even ended up even drawing their own cartoons. So this is someone who is not for the interest of Kenya. This is someone who will counteract what we do in equal measure. And for us to ensure that even what it does, we react to in equal measure. We don't need someone who is weak. We don't need someone who is democratic. We don't need someone who is, we need a mind, that mind of Magoha. Go see with your eyes what is happening. We just need a radicalist. We need someone who can be able to do a serious surgery and push this country where it needs to. Even if it is 5 years naende, tutakuwa tumejua, this is the line. We need a Magufuli in Kenya. The time is here. It is a dawn for us. And we truly need someone. If you have an option from Matiang'I, bring it on board. At the end of the day, if we can all pull our efforts together and ensure we bring all these people, the church, every denomination, every religious groups who are pushing for this agenda, we bring everyone on board. So when it reaches 2027 or so, we have one voice. But let us not forget, the tool is always ID and voters card. So even as we are discussing all these things, we also need to know, yes, we need Matiang'I, we need Maraga, we need this and this, but at the end of the day, kutakuwa na mchujo ingine kali sana. Among all these people, we will simply have to get the right person at the end of the day, but the caliber of a person we need to get is someone who knows what Ruto is, someone who understands, someone who has served in this government, and really know, especially someone who has served and has monitored Ruto's movement. We need someone who understands. Otherwise, when you bring somebody from outside who doesn't even understand, Magufuli, before he became president, he served in several ministries. But when he became president, he ensured what needed to be done was done. So that is the kind of a person we need currently. Thank you so much, PP.
All right. I have a question here. I have a couple of comments to read. Very interesting comments. So Angela Maina is saying the thing is KK's administration is not even halfway through the term and feels like the country is entering a campaign mode. Consider this a wasted term at taxpayers' expenses, and we're just going along with it. Aguko has a question to Western, saying Western, bring that good name, we'll cross-check ndio tuamue kama Kenya sio kila saa huyu akikuja no kila mtu no. Aguko still is speaking, anasema huyo Western anataka nani? Juu huwa simuelewi. Kila mtu akitokea yeye ako opposition, hebu mpe mic. Leo tueleza anapendelea nani ama akuje tumchague. Wanjira is also speaking about we're supposed to occupy parliament on Thursday. We have an upcoming Stop Femicide march that is happening on 10th. But instead of mobilizing, we are discussing Matiang'I. It's clearly a distraction tactic. As by saying the Matiang'I story is a diversionary propaganda to redirect us from important current affair. Franton is saying Morara is who we want. That is Franton is saying that. And of course, Ninda is talking about inject. Now, I see Good Boy here before I bring in Western to tell us who is supporting. Good Boy, how are you doing?
Hey, Pepita, how are you?
I am well. Yourself?
Good too. Thank you for the opportunity. Hello, guys. So, these are my submissions regarding this Matiang'I issue. So, I've had the previous speakers giving the prerequisites for leading Kenya, specifically, basically African countries, specifically Kenya, in a country where there seems to be very hardcore criminals leading the nation. So the requirements basically to be, and I concur with them, that the requirements to be president in Africa, you need to be a very tough and a hardcore person because you are dealing with tough and hardcore people. We need a no-nonsense personality, not a soft, not a polite or a cool personality. I agree Matiang'I has that. Another person I could add maybe is Martha Karua. However, Matiang'I served in a government that is known for ignoring court orders. There was massive corruption and extrajudicial killings. I could the quarry or the quarry killings that we have now or we had during this regime, we can compare them to the Yala killings. So also, since this regime had the quarry killings, the previous regime had the Yala killings. And he also served in that particular, he was actually in the middle of all that. So basically, this is a continuous practice in the current government. And so you can think of this then. The moment we don't agree with him, assuming he is in government, the moment we don't agree with him regarding policies, just like we don't agree with the current regime, specifically Ruto, and then we decide to go to the streets, how much can he be in terms of deploying Subaru killers? Remember what he did to Miguna. Even if he was directed to do things, he had the liberty to refuse to follow those orders and leave the government. He had that liberty. No one was forcing him. So that is one thing that we need to keep also in mind. What will you do if he repeats the same human rights violations? You have elected him, you have put him into government. What will you do if he repeats the same human rights violations? What will you do if he allows foreign policies that currently are being fronted left, right, and center? Remember, he's also seeking foreign assistance to capture this presidency. So does it mean that foreigners will have their fair share of this country? Will he also recover our land taken by foreigners in the ranches that are in Laikipia? Will he deal with the Batuks, the British army, that are killing our own people in Laikipia with those explosives that have chemicals that have affected generations? I think you've seen this also, this documentary in one of the YouTube channels. Highlighted there. I mean, we need to ask these questions. We don't have to be sensational, speaking about the personality and all that, but we need to ask deep questions and interrogate them. Will he be able to do that? And when he was in the previous government, while these things were also in existence, was he able also to highlight them, to direct them, or to mention these issues? So for me, what I can see is most people not all, but most people that have or are fronting him, I think is these people want him to deal with Ruto. It's not about leadership or anything. I think in their mind, they see that, okay, this person hated Ruto. He also spoke badly about him. And so they want him now to be here so that he can sort of revenge for them against Ruto. Finally, I can say that he has the qualities. He's hardcore, tough, no nonsense, and hardworking. But remember also, he is a killer and he's also arrogant. So what maybe I can propose is, if it comes that people now have decided completely, now this is the person that we want. If it comes to that, then I think the option we can do is front him with one of our own. And also, the person that we will front to go with him, like the vice president or the deputy president under him, will be one who can we make sure that that person keeps him in check and in balance, and not a yes person, someone whom can keep him in check, someone who can actually hold him accountable, not someone who is a yes person. So that's basically my submission. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, good boy, for that. I see my guy Mali at Western Shilaho. Ajuoga Anguko is tired of you not telling us who you want to support. He says everybody we support you are against. So he wants you to come out of the bush and tell us who are you with.
Peter, great. Thank you so much. Peter, first, let me begin by idealism, what it means. You know, often we pour cold water on idealists, but these are people who push the world. I can put it to you. Like the person who came up with Uber, e-hailing taxi industry. You know, his idea was this: I'm going to run the taxi industry without owning a taxi. Whoever listened to him thought that he was mad. How do you run a taxi industry without owning a taxi, even one? So no, I'm not going to own even one, but I'm going to run a taxi industry. I'll do it through an app. The rest, as they say, is history. When idealists speak, we think they're mad. You know, their minds are not working. How can you imagine of a Kenya without corruption? It's impossible. It can't work. How can you imagine Kenya without injustice? It can't work, because we have never seen a Kenya that works. So that we can't contemplate something like that. Can you imagine? We're drawing from the present and history, so we can't contemplate a future where we will treat you as a Kenyan, not on account of the village you come from. We can't contemplate that kind of Kenya. But I can promise, if there's a leader who thinks like that, that's the person who is going to transform the country. And he will do it. Not within a year, not within 5 years. Within no time, he's going to succeed. So we become cynical because we've had cynical people in power all along. And therefore, we are fixated with personalities. That's the challenge. We've never seen a president who towers above parochialism. You know, all of them diminished by parochialism. So that is our challenge. But to be idealistic, it's like Elon Musk talking about I'm going to rule, you know, the internet provision industry. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to dig underground for cables. I'll just take the satellite into the orbit. That is it. That's an idealist talking. And he does it. We who thought something like that cannot happen, we realize now we're scrambling for space. So don't dismiss, pour scorn on idealists. Don't. Peter, let me put it to you. I'll pick it from where Ajoga left. I think because of our antipathy towards William Ruto, we tend to underestimate him. And that works in his favor. Because if it's in a fight or in a political context, what you want is your opponents to dismiss. It's like Donald Trump. If you read Donald Trump's journey to the White House, first he asked George Bush, Senior, Herbert, the father to George Bush Walker, that he wanted to be his running mate. George Bush laughed at him. He laughed at him. Donald Trump, how dare you? I mean, you can be my running mate? Laughed at him. That is it. And then, well, they dismissed him. He disappeared. Then he reappeared towards the 2016 election. Again, everybody laughed at him. No, it can't be. It can't. Even Barack said, oh, at least with me, I'll go down in history as a bad president. Donald Trump will go down in history as somebody who never became president. Those clips are there. The rest, as they say, is history. Is history. Such that you're not doing anything important until people start laughing at you. You're not doing anything serious. You have not found your direction in life until people start laughing at you, pouring scorn on what you're doing. Once they do that, realize now you're doing something serious. You can proceed. But when everybody says, no, you're doing the right thing, no, those could be sycophants. William Ruto, he understands our politics so well. One, he's been on the losing side of the political divide where elections have been stolen. So he was on the losing side. He was on the losing side. That was in 2007. So he knows the pain of an election being stolen. When you are staring victory in the face like this, snatched away from you. He knows that pain. He has also been a beneficiary of a stolen election. He has been. So nobody on a political landscape understands our politics more than William Ruto. 2013, there was this narrative of tyranny of numbers by Matiang'I. Tyranny of numbers, if you remember. Tyranny of numbers is meant to psychologically prepare you so that when your candidate loses, you can appreciate you didn't have the numbers. So you deserve to lose if you don't know how this politics works. Tyranny of numbers, you people don't have the numbers. So when your candidate loses, you make peace with that. We didn't have the numbers. We were told those guys have the numbers. That's how this propaganda works. But William Ruto knows the census of Kenya. He does. The real numbers, he knows them. I can put it to you for free. He appreciates the real numbers. Where the votes are and he knows. He knows. I can put it to you. Because in Africa, elections are not stolen on the voting day. Manipulation of census figures is part of stealing elections. It happens in Nigeria. It happens all over the place. You first must tinker with the numbers in terms of census. You tinker with them. You suppress these numbers, you inflate these numbers. That's how they do it. So then, in a country that is ethnically oriented like Kenya, we just tell you, no, man, the people who backed you do not have the numbers. Man. Why are you complaining? We're not seeing these things, aren't we? He knows the real figures. Can put it to you. So, if you're talking about ruthlessness, well, let's say Matiang'I is ruthless. So how would you characterize William Ruto? I want to hear. So this guy is ruthless. He's the one who's supposed to do. So Ruto is in power now. He runs the instruments of violence. These are two ruthless people. One is outside. The other one is carrying a bazooka. You tell me, in that war, who is going to prevail? Two ruthless people. One is in power, the other is outside. He's fighting to come in. Who is going to prevail? Because it's now ruthlessness. We want a ruthless candidate. We have now thrown democracy into the window. We don't want the rule of law. We don't want the constitution. We just want a ruthless person, a strong man. So you have a strong man already in power, and you're backing another strong man outside who wants to get in. Who between the two is going to prevail? I want to hear the answer to that. Who is going to prevail? Well, there are no prizes for guessing the answer. There are no prizes. So we must be careful what we pray for. Some prayers, you must be careful what you pray for. Because that prayer may just come to pass. Be very careful. So with me, no, I don't do personalities. Because there was yote wezekana bila Moi. If you read, towards 2020, yote wezekana bila Moi. Yote wezekana bila Uhuru, or what was it? It was also sung at some point. Now the same person is being celebrated. It's being celebrated. Yeah, that's what happens when we invest in personalities. But even the Bible tells us, for those who read the Bible, you're doomed. You who bank on human beings are completely doomed. It tells us that. that you think you can bank and count on a human person, you know, to liberate you, to deliver on the very many things you desire in life. The Bible tells us you're doomed. It does, and I think they're correct. So that in other jurisdictions, people are not bothered with personalities. They're not. Because they're not bothered with personality because they will jail you. If you go against public interest, they're going to jail you. They will impeach you. Even if you're a president, they will impeach you. So they're not bothered whether you're a skunk or not. You run for president, majority of the people voted for you, you got into power. Okay, you engage in your shenanigans. You will find yourself in jail. Oh yeah, just like any other common thug, common thief. But we don't foresee that in Kenya. And that's why we invest in personalities as opposed to in institutions, in values, in the rule of law, which protects all of us, irrespective of your station in life. So Matiang'I, you're telling me this is a ruthless person who is going to deal with cartels, but he can't account for his wealth. So how are you going to deal with those cartels? You can't account for your wealth. How will you? No, you cannot. And those Western PR firms that is enlisting, they like corrupt people because you lack credibility. Now they can use you. So if you've been complaining about Americans and their policies in Kenya, now let me put it to you. This guy is enlisting the services of Americans. So how will he resist the American influence in Kenya? The things we keep bemoaning, lamenting about currently. How is he going to keep Americans at bay? And he's counting on them to help him catapult him into power. How will he resist Bill Gates? Tell me how. How? Big Pharma. How is he going to resist them? No, you just tell me. Because you're saying you want a ruthless person who's going to deal with cartels and write things in Kenya, but the person from the get-go is telling you that he's counting on Americans. And you know, those who help you are indebted to them, aren't you? What are they getting in return? This immunity you are talking about, he's going not to lift the immunity that William Ruto has put in place. Because it's just the American establishment. There's no distinction between Bill Gates, the White House. They're the same establishment. Elon Musk, it's the same establishment. Capital, he will safeguard the interest because it's indebted to them. Just like Cambridge Analytica, who carried out a scorched earth campaign towards 2013 elections. Their purpose was to sanitize the candidates we had at that time who are facing charges at the ICC. Scorched earth against Raila Odinga. Did you watch? Did you see? Yeah, they did. So when you see now we are beholden to those people, look at history, where we're coming from. It's not us. Some external actors played psychological warfare against us. And before we realized, we had people in power whom some of us did not approve of. So I think we're being cyclical in the way we're reading our politics. We're being cyclical. We're not being crystal clear. You know, we're running around in circles, in circles. When clearly you can tell this candidate does not have my interest at heart from the get-go, you can tell. But you think at some point, once he gets into power, suddenly he's going to remember you. That's fantastic. The other thing, our politics is not universal. It's not representative of Africa. In Madagascar, a DJ was elected into power. A DJ in Madagascar. In Senegal, a tax collector is their president, a little known person. You know, that president didn't have any political experience before. He's the president. We here think, oh, Mother Karua, oh, Matiang'I is a former minister, oh, Kalonzo, former vice president. We never look at leadership outside of the political elite. Isn't that our enduring shortcoming? It's our enduring shortcoming. Yeah, because our pool is so narrow and shallow. It's just not narrow, but it's also shallow. Yes. We never expand this pool. That we could have a person who has no political experience, but is going to turn around the country. We think that what you need is political experience, when even that experience is useless. It has never helped Kenyans before. Or Kenyans look at it and they rule that you ever ascended to power at some point as a cabinet minister or whichever position you had. We have to expand it. We must. Because these are one and the same people, part of the establishment. Part of the establishment. So when you tell me, who is my candidate? Well, I'm telling you, I don't have a dog when it comes to establishment actors. Because you can tell how they will act long before they get into power. You can tell. They will protect one another. I can put it to you, Matiang'I would not jail William Ruto. I can put it to you. Well, in the unlikely event that he will not. I can put it to you. He won't. He will not. He will not touch him. He won't. As I lied, Pepita, remember on this platform, we do some predictions. This time around, we can do it way before elections. If Matiang'I was to run against William Ruto, I've got a memo. William Ruto will prevail. I've got a memo. He will. If Kalonzo was to run against William Ruto will prevail. I can put it to you for free. For free. Why? Because Mwai Kibaki was meant to be a one-term president, but he did 2 terms. Uhuru Kenyatta was meant to be a one-term president. He did 2 terms. William Ruto thinks he's a more accomplished politician than these 2 predecessors of his. So nothing crosses this man that is a one-term president. Nothing. He doesn't lose sleep because of that. He doesn't. He does not lose sleep. It will be an epic failure for somebody who prevailed against the establishment. Kenyan oligarchs were against him. He prevailed and rose into power for him to let power slip through his fingers. And that's why when Ajoga says it's a Herculean task, that's not idle talk. It's not idle talk. It's a Herculean task. And we're not going to get rid of him by simply saying anybody other than William Ruto. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. We're not going to get rid of him by insulting him. It's not going to work. We must come up with a compelling narrative against his compelling narrative. Insulting him, calling him names, it's not going to work. We will wake up, as I said earlier, and find this guy is doing his 2nd term, and not just his 2nd term, he's also going to decide whoever is going to succeed him. I can put it to you. Yeah, because we minimize his, significance as far as our political landscape is concerned. We minimize, and I'm afraid it's going to work in his favor. Peter, that's my memo. You can mark today. It's my memo.
Let me mark the date. I probably will get someone who is willing to give me money on that bet. Like the Trump one, it was amazing. But anyway, I hope somebody is looking to bet against my guy, Western Shilaho. And so that we can put the money down. Home run people will be running until 2027, the year of the Lord. So I will be here also to follow up on that. Probably be able to host the presidential candidates on the show and hear what they say. I see now Obel Subuth is here with us. How are you doing, Komodo?
Good evening, Pepita.
Yes.
Okay.
Uko na maneno ya kutuambia?
Definitely. I have. Let me appreciate the fact that we are very good speakers who actually they have deep understanding of the African politics and to narrow it down to Kenya's politics. On the subject, let me start by saying that my mom is actually 70 years old, and she has called me today to ask me what Nairobi people are saying. And she's very, very, very direct. And whoever ran in her mind actually is Matiang'I. So that's how Matiang'I is deep rooted in the rural area. Actually, in a normal day, I interact with more than 20 people across, let me say, across Thika Road, Mount Kenya per se. And what I've been trying to do is to get to know how they feel about the current situation in the country. It comes to politics, and their favorite candidate is not even Kalonzo Musyoka, the way you say it. Their favorite candidate is actually Matiang'I. So what am I saying? The 2027 election will is just like the election of 2003 actually, whereby the country was against one and they were going to actually kutoa, and that was the philosophy by then. We are going to actually to remove, and this time round it's actually close to that, and the only person who has the mantle to compete favorably with William Ruto is none other than Fred Okengo Matiang'I. Reasons: number one, Matiang'I is like Trump. Very many people dislike him. Very many people actually like him at the same time. Because the reason why I'm saying Matiang'I is the favorable candidate is because once you are working under a principle, you only act on the behalf of the principle. You don't act on your own JD whatsoever, because then the principal can decide to dismiss you anytime. Because again, you have to maintain your job, your role, and any other things. So anything that happens during Matiang'I times, the evil thing that we are saying, it was purely action on the behalf of the principal, who again had a liberty to say, no, this is the direction we are following. The government is not controlled by the ministries. The country government is controlled by the head of state. And therefore, Matiang'I was only following the orders that was given by then, and you cannot defy your boss. Number two, the same interior has been one of the difficult ministries to handle. Even if we today we try and give Pastor Ezekiel or Prophet Owuor, perceived prophet and the prophetess, actually the same abduction will still continue, because those are some of the government acts to actually try to make to insert fear to the people, so that again people are aligned. Because again, people cannot be living in a free world whereby you are saying that you can do anything anywhere. So those are some of the action that government do take. I'm not saying that I'm a pro abduction or the other, but I'm just saying to the context of then how then Matiang'I evil actually is arising. I've said, and I'll repeat again, that the only person who can take William Ruto home is Matiang'I. The rest, Maraga, I've called my mom, I've even asked my mom today. She's 70 actually. What about Maraga? Actually, she took few minutes to remember who Maraga was. And it's just starting to introduce somebody and to familiarize this person with now the general public not be easy. We want somebody who is actually already on the public domain. Who is that? Is Matiang'I, because then Matiang'I has the financial muscles, is likable with all actually across the country, across the board. I support Matiang'I because Matiang'I will restore sanity in the country. I'm not saying he should go and pick Ruto or those corrupt political leaders and put them in jail. That cannot happen. Even in US, those things do not happen. Even in most democratic countries, those things do not happen. But at least they will have a sanity and will have a route toward political liberation that we have been praying for very, very, very long time. So I'm saying, and we need to not to be, because we need to not to be too much into then the online, because now what the ground perceive is very, very important, because they are a majority. I'm saying this, I'm not saying that the online do not work, but now what is the illiteracy level of the Kenyan people, old generation, of which high percentage of them are the actual voters. So we do not need. Let's take the example in when Peter Kenneth was actually a online presidential candidate. What happened? So we need to take this thing to the ground. Let's listen to what the ground is saying. In online, you can have different opinion because some of us, we are very close to political elites that we want to be president, so that again, individual interest we have within the internet. I've seen it very many times. So we don't need just to confront people because you at one point you are an activist, or at one point you are doing the 1, 2, 3. No, we need somebody who are tested, tried. Matiang'I has been tested, tried, and successfully control the ministries that actually he held. So thank you very much, Peter. I urge all the people in this platform, let's all support Matiang'I. If then Matiang'I declare that he wants to be the president, let's not remain behind. All of us, the total of 8198 people on this platform, we are actually the correct trajectory towards liberating our country. Young generation, the Matiang'I is the only candidate who will liberate this country to the next level. Thank you very much, Peter.
I like that, Komudo. Liberate. Geodesic. I see Professor Kibuda Kibwana is here with us. Shout out to you, Prof, as well, for being here with Geodesic. Are you of the same school of thought with my guy Obel Subut that Matiang'I will liberate us?
Vivi Malvo.
Pause on
Me, I think I'll go a little bit reserved with that idea. Because basically, we all know Matiang'I, hakuna mwenye ajui Matiang'I. Wanasemanga mgala muwe lakini haki yake mpe. Yeah. He did a good job being in the ministries, education and interior, though interior ilikuja kakua controversial at the end of the day. So, going by that, I think I'll be a little reserved at the moment, unless it's the last option we have. Because right now we are in a stage like our country is in a mess. The education system is in disarray. We have like the health system. Nobody even knows what is happening. Even the CS themselves. We have like a runaway corruption in every ministry, in even the county levels. It is very sad. Very sad state. And keeping that in mind, we have like, okay, Matiang'I was good in some ways, like in PA. At the end of the day, he ended up to show us like how someone who is corrupted or influenced by somebody can actually act. Because when he came and become political and started taking sides it became messy on his side, and he started acting very weird. And we all know the likes of the Kinjakoma brothers and so, and with the state that we are currently, I don't think we need like. We are in a train that is overspeeding. The driver is just there smoking on a cooler job and a captain. And basically, we don't need somebody mwenye ataweka brake ama ataweka reverse, because all of us will just die. Because that's what I think about Matiang'I. Because the same action and reaction force, they are the same forces but equal, and they go on the different sides. So we need, what I will go according to me is we need a sober mind. We need somebody who will just say, hey, kila mtu amechizi, everybody mad, everybody is angry, kila watu wamekasirika. But now we need like a little sanity. Let's bring, I understand there's a problem and something like that, but please let's tukae chini, let's talk about let's have a conversation with each other, because at the end of the day, when we have like a working judiciary, we have a working legislature, we have like working laws, people who follows the constitution to the letter. I don't think anybody will have a problem with working with that. Because right now, it's like we are looking for a savior. Nobody is coming to save us. We should keep that in the back of our mind, because the problems that we have right now are just a symptoms of a very big problem. We have like a death burden. Kuna madeni mingi. And that's it affect kila kitu. It affects government efficiency. It affects everything. And then we have runaway corruption, which in a complicate manner even more. So we need someone who will straighten up the institution. Will like even the likes of the police will just say, okay, we know how controversial this department has been, but now, what does the law say? What does the constitution say? How should you act with the citizens? You know, when we follow laws, at the end of the day, things will get right. And when things get right, you don't have to worry about a certain person doing something that is against something, because at the end of the day, you know, you'll have to face the consequences of what you did. And when we have like a working system like that, now we can now come later and talk about very controversial people. But we need a sober mind. We need somebody who will calm people down. We need somebody who will have a sober conversation with everybody. Because what we have in the ministry, like education and let's say health, is because we have a government doing something and the people don't know. Or the people have not been educated that much, then they don't know. And we have like now people are angry because the government is pushing things that they are not aware about and things like that. And at the end of the day, we'll need someone who will just, bring sanity to Bante. That's what I think. And at the end of the day, we have also to consider the fact that this election, the coming election, might be decided partly, a larger percentage will be decided by the younger generation. And that's a very big problem that this government cannot solve, and it might not be solved maybe in the it will take some time to solve it, because it keeps on expanding each and every day. We have unemployment issues, we have youths who cannot even find like opportunities to do whatever they studied or something like that. So keeping that in mind, I think there's a lot we have to think about. Yeah, some youth might prefer Matiang'I because of the hardcore, but I'll go with what Western said. I don't think he will come and now run rogue and arrest the likes of William or something like, or those other corrupt leaders. He won't do that, because we all know about the Ruaraka land scandal. So at the end of the day, it's already tainted. The corruption won't go away. It will just be like Meleta Duve PIA just clean things up. So we need someone who will use the law themselves to follow people up, if that's what we really need to fight corruption. So the likes of Omtata and even Kibwana and Maraga, they have not even stated if they'll run, but personally, I think I'll go for those if they will decide any of those. But then if it goes ikienda ikuwe that the only option to konai ni Matiang'I, then I mean that's because at the end of the day we have to lazima tutoe must go. So how do I achieve PP? Thanks, Mazi.
Asante sana Geodesic for that submission. Naona jamaa wa physical education anaitwa Japuonji, jamaa wa gym. How are you doing? Japuonji.
Hey, Peter, how are you doing?
Physically fit. I am well. I am not physically fit, but I am trying.
So, okay, I was just doing, today is Monday, International Test Day, and thanks for the speaker. Mine is just, hey, Ajoga, stop laughing. What up, check? Oh, where do I start? I've been listening to Weston and all of you, and this is a very good conversation. So, who is Matiang'I? Matiang'I is one guy, is a no-nonsense guy. And if I was to bet between Matiang'I and Ruto in a boxing match, leave alone politics, I think Matiang'I will win. That guy is no nonsense, and there's a reason they fear him, you know. So Matiang'I had intelligence as one of the last interiors, and he was attending those minutes. So the reason I think he wants to come back is because he knows what it takes, and he has what it takes. And as much as we like Omtata, I just changed my mind a few minutes ago after listening to a lot of conversations and going through his and the rest. Obel, stop laughing. So what I'm trying to say is if I had the choice of Kalonzo to me is soft. He cannot face these guys head on. If I was to pick someone like Raila, his old guard is going home. We know that. If I was to pick Maraga has not even, spoken about his interest. We don't want to push someone. At some point, people used to say that maybe hata Raila atakangi kuwa president. Sisi tunamsukuma. Hiyo kitu ilikuja ikapass. Sometimes inakuanga ukweli. Me, I think huwa ni ukweli. Juu, this guy anaendaga election, dia lose, aingie kwa government. Because he's been in all governments. Having said that, we don't want to repeat those mistakes, the history. Kupush mtu mwenye hajashow. As we speak now, how many people have shown interest to go against Ruto? Honestly, watu kama Wanjigi hawaja declare interest. Hao ni last minute. Wale watu wanatafutanga coalition. Watu kama Peter Kenneth saizi wako missing, wako raised. They will show up last minute. We are expecting them. Kuna watu like I'm sure 100% akina ODM wataeka mtu, but not Raila. But Kalonzo cannot withstand Ruto. Me, I'm telling you, honestly speaking, that guy is quite soft. Hata ile time yenye Miguna alikuwa anapisha baba, this is the same guy alijificha. I'm not saying in a bad taste, but alijificha ama. Okay, having said that, let's look at people like Martha Karua. Martha Karua has a tainted history here and there. He can serve. He's a no-nonsense woman, we know that, but I will not bet on her 100%. But in the Matiang'I administration, she can serve, okay? Who else was there? Matiang'I, Maraga. Omtata is good. But see, there's something I'm reserving for Omtata, He's like 50-50. One leg, he wants to join he wants to join the Gen Z and post his candidature. And then I just landed upon a video of his wife talking about the husband's interest, who is Mrs. Omtata, was talking about interest of Oki Omtata wanting to vie for presidency. You see, you don't take things like presidency as a joke. I mean, I'm not saying the wife. I have nothing against the wife, but you have to. This is serious business. He needs to step down and tell us, this is the time, guys. This Ruto sio mtu wa kucheza cheza nayo hivi. Ruto aliwaambia, mnaonanga yeye ni mtu wa kucheza cheza naye ovyo ovyo hivi ati kama mjajipanga. And he used to tell Raila, mjipange mapema. Kama atujipangi this year, at least we need to have some information. Unaget? So if Omtata is going, let us know clear before this year ends. Asimame kidete na tuambie, I'm going for it. Si mambo na kutuma watu kujaribu kupima weather. No. We want someone who is going there to stand against Ruto and face him, And the only also thing that about Omtata that is I'm reserved a little bit is about this guy likes going more the legal way, He likes going to a lot of court work, All this, he likes to go legal way to the, and sometimes as he work, sometimes we need to work with this Ruto with some unscoped methods, like we need to face him. Unajua mtu ukisimama na hivi akikusalimia hivi mkono itetemeki, you face him. Unajua we need such a leader. We have reached that point whereby lazima tuonyeshe Ruto we have someone who is a man who can stand with him. Matiang'I still fits that. Okay. We have heard a lot about Matiang'I and we have not even had enough. See, once watu wamejua Matiang'I anasimama kidete and he will be speaking, utaona zile vitu government bloggers watatoa. This is not all. Watasema everything. But as we speak today now, at this moment, my vote would go to Matiang'I as the first choice. And I would expect him to pick a team which will include people like Omtata and a few others, okay, of the same mind race. Because remember, Ruto will 100%, he will field someone, and he's trying to do that. He will field someone to break the alliance, Because whoever will get the Gen Z votes will win 2027. He knows that. So if Matiang'I can attract the interests of Gen Z, because as someone said here, we need sanity. We need sanity in the government, Maze. Nothing is working. I work. Let's be honest, nothing is working. And we have seen how Matiang'I works, how he was walking around, like doing things, making sure things are done, asking other cabinets to stop saying it in the office, to go around and check the work, checking examination on the ground. This guy was there, and I admired his work, The other thing this guy was talking about, or Ben was talking about him, was just following the master's rule. Okay, that is debatable because sometimes you can resign if it's too much, but he has I cannot say that he has a lot of blood in his hand, that like what we are seeing now, like the 60, demonstrators that were killed on July 25th. But, you have always that choice. It's a choice to resign. Okay, you always have that choice. So we cannot give excuse that they did something because they were told. No, that is not excuse. Even soldiers as ingine usimama kidete wanakata. So as I wind down, I wanted to give you a quote by Napoleon. Napoleon once said, "The world suffers a lot, not because of the violence of the bad people, but because of the silence of the good people." So sometimes you ask yourself, who are these good people and why are they silent? Who are these silent majority? Because we hate so much. You see, Ruto win in 2027, not because he's good, like Mo used to win, not because he's good, but because we are divided. When can we join hands as a movement and try to stabilize everything? Gen Z, we don't have a leader yet. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and me. I know I've been tweeting about things about Matiang'I and everything, but I have come to conclusion after checking all others because they have not shown interest. As we speak now, today, at this moment, my vote goes to Matiang'I, a no-nonsense man, and that is the trump card I think that we have now. So thank you so much, Pipita, and I second this motion. Kaende.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to be running a poll because now it looks like we are divided right down in the middle. There are people who think Fred Matiang'I is going to be the next president. They're going to vote for him if he steps up. And there are people who are thinking, oh, no, we need better. I see Kowino is in the building. I want to hear from Kowino before I go to second rounds of submissions. Kowino, habari yako?
Uzuri sana Pipi, jambo.
Jambo sana ndugu yangu. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm well. Hey.
Unasikia liberation ya nani ya boy wangu hapa Komudo.
Nimesikia hapa Komudo bwana. Komudo jambo bwana. Umesema mama amefanya poll. Yeah, mama Komudo.
Matiang'I. Maraka.
Komudo's mother has done the polls. Na ameona ni kama Matiang'I will win. I love that. Najua siku hizi naogopa kuongea hizi spaces Pipi bwana. Last time niliongea kwa space nikaambiwa I'm selling people fear, na nikaambiwa mimi nimeshaingia ODM na nimeingia kwa serikali, niko kwa payroll, na sasa hiyo nalala kwangu njaa. Niju watu walisema huku wanataka kuform army ya counter attack government abductions. Nikawaambia hizi vitu tunasema tu kwa space, but literally haziwezi. Up to this moment sijaona any of them. And I really want to hear from the people who said they will form that jeshi, because they drove to me from that space saying that
Hawa tu kuchora giza kwa spaces. One of them, I actually one of them legit stopped coming to home run with PP because kwanza huko Kenya unatafuna premium miraa unakuja unatuambia hapa eti you know we need to counter them, we need to go to war. Yeah, ukiongea unatoka moshi kwa masikio. We need to go to war, must go.
Mimi nilisema hilo vitu bwana, hatuwezi pipi bwana, nikaambiwa mimi nimeingia ODM nataka kuvai for a seat and all that, so nikasema okay sawa, wacha tuone basi.
Ukijaribu kuwa change mind wanasema Koino amelipwa kama mimi last week nilisema I don't know what I said, then this guy Gaitho was like is a dangerous government of account to be avoided. So yeah guys, anyway ningieni pale hivi kwa tip job na my government muni support ndarala njaa tu juu nilisikia nalipwa na serikali. Anyway Koino talk to us. Wallahi niko na fuliza
yeah pipi mimi nani akona feedback Komuda anafaa mute. Hizi suggestions zote ziko poa, discussions zote ziko poa. We don't know. Mnezeka Matiang'I, me like for all I know right now, I really don't care. Bora mpate a suitable replacement to mwenye anashinda Ruto. Then I'm just fine. If the youth, if the entire population can muscle troops or support one person mwenye anaweza toa maybe the current government, and they feel the person mwenye anaeka hapo ataperform, then well and good. All we want is a better country. But a very big but. I want to rely take sides na the Western school of thought that na hii ni kitu tumekuwa tukiignore sana kwa hizi spaces, and when you say it people think you've been bored. We are really ignoring the fact that we are not dealing with just an average politician. To deal na average politician, yes, umesema Matiang'I is ruthless, but isn't William Ruto also ruthless? He is equally ruthless. Na yeye sasa akona power. I don't know if you remember these statements, but I remember him saying, kwani iko deep state mimi sijui mimi na mimi ndio deputy president. Kuna deep state mimi sijui, na sasa hiyo Uhuru was busy campaigning for Raila towards the 2022 elections. Alikuwa anawaambia tu publicly kuna deep state, mimi naweza shindwa na kitu inaitwa deep state. He was saying it and people were ignoring. Hapana. Where is he right now?
Wani ukiniangalia kweli mnafikiria naweza shindwa nao watu kweli?
Exactly. Alikuwa tu anawaambia hivyo, anasema kunaweza kuwa na deep state mimi sijui, mimi William Ruto kunaweza kuwa na deep state mimi sijui, and people were like hakuna Uhuru hata mpelekea sword. What happened? Where are we right now? This guy only needs like 6 million votes. And trust you, Mizai, tunaweza ona hapa kwa space he can't get them, but William Ruto is very smart. He can get the 6 million votes. The rest zenye zinababaki mumwachie, he can handle them. If he needs 2 million extra, he can handle that. He just needs 6 million votes. Na bado na feel tu Kenyans can give him those 6 million votes. That is my biggest worry. Tunaweza sema hapa he won't get votes, but the way people think hapa nje, it's different from how we think on these spaces. This guy gets 6 million votes, he is the president. Na Western amesema kitu moja hapa. Ruto feels like he is better than Kibaki and better than Uhuru, and those two went for 2 terms even when they did not deserve it. Do you think he will accept to go for 1 term? Sioni, like I know we want to save this country, but I want to be part of it. Personally, mimi siwezi votia Ruto. I cannot. Sikumvotia na bado siwezi mvotia. I'll vote for an alternative candidate. Whoever atakuwa mwenye wananchi watasema tuchague. But are we satisfied enough that alternative candidate atapiga Ruto? What do we need to do? Because we really need to find these solutions as quick as possible. Na sahi, hata hizi suggestion tunaleta Matiang'I nini? We are really giving him enough time ya kuthink venye atabita watu, like tunampatia cards zetu zote, tunamonyesha hii ni 10, hii ni 9, hii ni Joker, hii ni Q, hii ni K. Now do what you can do. Like, that is what we are literally doing. Tunaweza compare hizi vitu na Botswana, United States, Donald Trump and everything. But even Ruto himself is a Donald Trump wa huko. Yeye venye aliingia kwa presidency aliingia venye Trump aliingia. Sasa kumtoa maybe haiwezi kuwa tu, because hai tunaangalia Botswana Matiang'i sasa amesign na wale watu walipatia ule wa Botswana kura. No, watu wa Botswana watavote Kenya. That is the difference. And maybe they were too tired, au maybe walikuwa shachoka. Unajua at this point na feel Kenyans maybe bado hawajachoka tena enough. Like na feel too like ni kama Kenyans hawajachoka enough. Watu washarudi kwa comfort zone zao. People okay. Mtu wako maybe anafanya kwa serikali kwa basic salary yake, atakuja hapa kwa home run with the PP aseme SHA ni mbaya, then kesho akatwe salary iende kwa SHA. They will do nothing about it. That tells you people just convert, people just want to live. At this point una feel people just want to live, or feed familia zao and all that. But the president we have in power is not an ordinary politician. Huyu ni mtu amekuwa kwa serikali zote, amekuwa kwa Moi, hata ya Kibaki alikuwa part of it at some point, amekuwa kwa ya Uhuru na amekuwa president sasa. Is he gonna go for one term? Western amesema kitu moja, Ruto anajua everything about politics because he has been on both sides of the divide. He has lost an election, whether ilikuwa maybe na controversies, the 2007 election akiwa Pentagon, or haikuwa nayo, he has been on the losing side. And again, he has been on the winning side. Na after alikuwa kwa the winning side, hiyo 2013, whether the election was contested in a court ama whatever, whether he was on the losing side, he realized one thing: he can never be on the losing side again. That is why 2022 aliingia na whatever he had to do, he did it akakuwa president. Because look at it, the incumbent president at that time, with all state machinery, was supporting a different candidate. Mpaka wako wanapatana na his deputy, who was William Ruto. But William Ruto managed to beat them clean and square, whether it was contested on a court or not. Sasa tunajua like in history 100 years to come hakuna mtu atajua hapo iliibiwa. Itajua Ruto became president. That is how history is unfair. Itajua wewe ulikuja number 2 kwa hiyo election. Itajua this was the first president, second, third, fourth, fifth, blah blah hivyo. William Ruto beat state and its own machinery with their candidate akakuwa president. Now he is the president. Yes, I know power of the people is very strong, but we have to be like, we have to do things out of the ordinary. Venye tu Western amesema, we all want this government out, but we have to do things out of the ordinary to get it out, because it's not going to be a walk in the park. Tunaweza piga kelele kwa spaces, we can meet, we can even Uhuru Park, 1 million people at Uhuru Park. We can even Uhuru Park, 1 million people at Uhuru Park and all that. But see how wanapiga kura. Just when Western amesema, you remember Mutai Nguni's tyranny of numbers. Those things were there and people ignored them. And that is how these people got to power. Yes, tunaweza taka Matiang'i could be ruthless as well, but he was also part of the problem. What happened to human dignity and principles? Enye mnasema Matiang'i alikuwa ana follow orders. Yeye alikuwa ameambiwa tu orders, like kama ni kuabduct, go and abduct. If you are self-principled enough, unafaa ukiambiwa useme hii hapana, I resign. We see people have been resigning at worldwide everywhere. Why was it so hard for Matiang'i kama yeye hakuwa part of those things? He was just part of it. I'm not saying he like maybe tufai kumpigia kura if he wants. Maybe it's the better evil. But people kutoa Ruto kwa power. I'm on that side of Western's bet. Bwana huyu jamaa bwana, mimi hata sasa muogopa tu nikiangalia huyu jamaa venye anapiga hesabu zake. Najua tu huyu ni kama ule Underwood wa House of Cards, huyu msimu ignore. Don't ignore this man. He's not our ordinary politician. He's not just an average politician. Tunaweza enda pale kwa debe tupigie mtu 7 million votes na tushinde. Atatoka na 9. Mnashangaa hata ametoa wapi? Na watakuwa hata na backup proof kwa nini wamepata hizo 9. Na hakuna kitu tutafanya. Tutalia, tuende maandamano, tukishatoka streets tuende court ichukue 14 days, ichukue mpaka the last day, then atangazwe, then apishwe, alafu tuende maandamano. So long ashachukua hiyo nini? Asha take oath pale. We'll just cry again kwa spaces. So we really have to be careful na choices zetu and what we're gonna do about it. Yes, it's possible. It's very possible. But probably not just kwa spaces. Not just by me calling my mother and asking, "Where mnataka Matiang'i ama nani mnataka ama Maraga?" Yeah, it's not gonna be easy like that. Like, bwana huyu jamaa anapiga mahesabu. Angalia sasa hivi venye amecontain situations zote. Si tulikuwa tunapiga hapa kelele tukisema waende wote na Rigiji. Where is Rigiji right now? Si watu walikuwa wanapiga kelele kwa street ati hezi enda Rigiji, hezi enda peke yake, lazima waende wote. Okay, where is Rigiji? Where is Rigiji sai? Who is the deputy president sai? And wakati wa campaigns, wakati Joho walikuwa Kiambu, Joho alisemaje? He will use Rigiji for 2 years, then dump him. Do you remember that? Now it makes me think that was not Joho speaking. Joho alikuwa ameambiwa sema hivi because itafanyika. Wakubwa wake. Like, you literally don't think that is a coincidence. Joho is not a prophet, bwana. But aliwaambia 2 years Rigiji out. Memaliza miaka ngapi? 2 years, around 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks out. So this is not an average man. Akishaamua anataka kufanya kitu, nje sisi hata tuko against, itafanywa tu, tutapiga tu kelele and all that. Maybe hata ile withdrawing finance bill publicly ilikuwa tu kutupaka mafuta, but it's just operational. So this is an extra smart guy, people. This is an extra smart guy. We want him out. All of us, we want him out. Hakuna mtu hajachoka na hii serikali. Bwana uchumi inatufinya kila mahali. But we just, I don't know, sijui tutacheza cards gani. Ndio hata hao Matiang'I, whether ni Morara, whether ni nani, wakwe president, whether ni Omtata, whoever it is who can sanitize the country. But lazima the work cannot be just done on spaces alone. Not everyone is on spaces. Ukiangalia population ya Kenya, hata watu wako Twitter na wenye huwa active on Twitter ni kidogo sana. So it's an uphill task. Si kitu tunaweza sema tu tunaenda kufanya bana, tunaenda kufanya. Hizi vitu ati sasa tunaenda hata ku-expose projects zimestall. Like literally, if you look at it, it's not making any impact. Haichafui hata jina yake kwa kivyote. Like, the guy is very comfortable with that. Easy, with you expose at useme hii dam itajengwa nini? Like, hata ina effect on litmus paper. Just look at it vizuri. The way yeye anacounter vitu. Someone was saying here hapa tatu kileta cartoon. Yes, these things could be working, but not to an extent zenye zinafaa kuwork. Again, MPs wake wanamsaidia kwa campaign. Sisi we are very few wenye maybe tunaenda kwa ground. Yeye ako hadi na MPs wenye alishabai, people are comfortable. In those areas that those members of parliaments and everyone's come from, there's a percentage of people who are comfortable with him being the president because the MPs are more convinced. So again, if he gets 60% of his MPs back in power, he's back in power. Literally, he will be back in power because he just needs like 150 MPs who retain their seats. Takuwa president because most of those people wenye watakuwa retain their seats itamaanisha watakuwa wamempatia pia kura mingi, maybe half, 40 to 50% of votes in those constituencies. If you go by that dynamics, utapata this guy is just back in power. So as much as tuna concentrate pia kwa national politics, presidency, these presidents cannot work with MPs wenye wanaoppose kila kitu wanapeleka kwa bunge. Because look at it this way, ingekuwa parliament, most of the people who are elected are not wa UDA. Do you think easy bills ingekuwa zinapass kwa bunge? Kumanisha Ruto was very smart. Alipiga hesabu zake kwanza, akabai my MPs before the elections. Kila mtu akapewa ticket. Ukikuja hivi unapewa ticket. Ukishaenda kuvai na hiyo ticket, wewe sasa wewe ni slave wake. Wewe akisema hivi, akisema kohoa, unakohoa. Akisema peep his head on a stick, you bring that. So hiyo kama the moment ina play hivyo watu wote wanamsikia sasa all MPs are inside, inamaanisha it's even hard to get the presidency. So we should also have a contingency plan. If he wins for a second term, who will hold him accountable? Now that is why you need to concentrate pia on easy parliamentary seats. Mnaweza ignore easy parliamentary seats, but they are also equally important kama the presidency, because if kama ile 2008 when Kibaki did not have majority in parliament, bills hazikuwa zinapasiwa ufala kama hii finance bill imekuja inapasiwa. So we also need people who can keep him on check if he goes back there, which there is a possibility he will. Rais akubali kuwa one term president. So yeah, that is what I wanted to say, people. I don't think it will be easy ujamaa kubali kwa.
Kwa umesema umekuja kwa ile inaitwa acceptance. Oh my God, mnanibamba. I see Malia Davis, I know I'm going to do, but I kicked out Calvin, so I'm going to let Calvin talk to us, and then we get from Malia and Ajuoga as well. Calvin.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Fifita, kuna pale umeenda mbaya. Hakuna kitu inaweza kosekana bila kukuwa na umoja. So Ruto being there doesn't mean that we cannot chase him away. We can chase Ruto away very fast. And Ruto needs somebody who is very courageous and brave. That person, if we have on our hands, Ruto can run away. Because if you look what Gen Z did, Gen Z just boo him, but he wanted to escape. So if we can organize ourselves properly, Ruto can run away. Second to that, we don't want to declare, it is not good for us to declare any candidature. Whether it's Matiang'I, whether it's who, whether it's Okiya Mtata. We want these candidates to declare themselves. Why am I talking like this? If you declare a candidate in public and X become the president, one time you will say that you are the one who forces me with that chair. I didn't want that chair. So we know that Matiang'I is brave enough. Personally, I know Matiang'I is brave enough. Mtata also is brave enough. But we cannot, we don't want them to know that we are behind them. We want them to declare first. If you want a lady, you go to lady, you approach a lady, you tell a lady, this is what I want. This is what I want from you, if you may like. But the moment a lady just comes to you directly, you will brag. You will brag. I know that is a situation where people will do. These people they will brag to us. Let us go to them, approach them. Let us them coming to us to approach us, not we approaching them. If we approach them, we won't go anywhere. We won't go anywhere. We know Matiang'I is a good guy. Omtata is also a good guy. And I know that maybe their heart is in Kenya, but they can let them start find on how they can come to us, not we going to them. That is how somehow it's like you are begging somebody who doesn't want to work. We cannot force somebody to work. Let them come for that work. If you want to work, you draft a letter and you say that I need this job. Huh? And if you are there, Mr. Pipiti, you will say that this man is interested. So we give you what you are interested for. We cannot force you to do for us a job which you are not satisfied with. So let us combine our brains together and rethink. I've not said Matiang'I is a bad guy. Matiang'I is a good guy. And he's also an intelligent guy. But let us not make a mistake of declaring his candidature. If we declare for him, Matiang'I will become the more worse than Ruto. Because he will have the word to say that there is a day you force me with this leadership. Now why are you disturbing me? Allow me to be in peace. Tunataka atafute yeye mwenyewe. Kama na Mtata atafute mwenyewe. Tuendelee hivyo. Wakisha declare na tumeona ako sawa, tunakaa nyuma yao. Tunasema bwana wewe mwami, wakati umefika, chukua hii kitu enda nayo. Tumekupatia huu msichana, enda ulende huu msichana mzuri, upatie manguo, shida ambayo ako naye, kama unaweza maleza shida yake. Na itakuwa namna hiyo. Lakini tusiforce Matiang'I na msichana. Ukiforce Matiang'I na msichana, atasumbua msichana. Mimi nakwambia ukweli. Ule mtoto wako kwa nyumba yako huko, hata kama ulikuwa unaona mimi na zoba around, na msichana wako ako hapo kwa nyumba, alafu wewe unasema ati huyo kijana unajua ni kijana mzuri, aenda kwa huyo kijana. Hapana, haikae namna hiyo. Hapo bwana Pepeta, tumedifa na wewe, tumedeclare 100 na wewe %, tumedifa kabisa. Matiang'i atafute mwenye anaweza ishi na yeye, sio sisi tunaotafuta yeye. Hatuwezi tafuta mtu sahi. Sahi tunataka kupigana na ufisadi na njaa ambayo inamaliza hivi vijana. Vijana wako na njaa kweli kweli. Vijana wako na shida kweli kweli. Hiyo ndio kitu tunataka iendelee, na hii mambo ya kunyanyasa wanawake, kuwaua wanawake carelessly, ambayo tunaona vile inafanyika, haijafanyika kwa hii Kenya. Mara nyingi tunasikia tu vijana wanaume wameolewa, hata siku hizi hata wanawake wanaolewa jamani. Pepeta bwana, ongea na wanaume bwana, hii haiwezekani. Hiyo ndio kitu inafaa to stop with immediate effect. Na wanawake watoke nje kweli kweli na wapige nduru. Hii haiwezekani kabisa. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Asante sana kwa hiyo submission. Anaitwa Calvin. Thanks so much Calvin for that. Malia, what do you have to say?
Okay, I had just put for you something which Matiang'I said about Ruto. Sijui kama unaiona hapo kwa post, kwa nini comments.
Acha niangalie.
Umeiona, unaweza
check it.
Ona kama unaweza kutuplayia. Hiyo yenye alikuwa sijui kama nimeweka mbili, lakini ni moja, kuna moja yenye yako very hii yenye imeandikwa Fred Matiang'I want Kenyans that William Ruto campaign promises are were all lies.
Oh yeah, but I'm away from the machines today, Malia. I will play it maybe in the first tomorrow's show.
Okay, so okay, what I wanted to say, nasikia watu wako so disoriented, like mtu amekuwa sasa ni kama Mungu hawezi tolewa hapo. Kenyans, let's not have an attitude of giving up. Ati sasa, this guy amekuwa hapo sijui since when. Hata shetani amekuwa hapo for 6,000 years na bado tunajua tutamshinda. So story ya ati sasa ati giving up and having a very, what kind of attitude is that? This guy, we are not even 2 years with him in the relationship and we are already feeling like we are growing mad, alafu unakuja kutuambia hapa atarudi 2027. Acha mchezo.
Haya, okay, Malia. Ajuoga.
Malia yawa. We. Pepita, my gadget is really hot. And today it is really hot. I don't know why. It seems there is something we call in physiology called impulses. Wacha nisiingie hapo. I think engineers are also here. Kama ni impulses za watu ndio zimeongezeka na speed. Wacha nisifike hapo, lakini naelewa Malia. Escowino was bringing in a very good it is Escowino in clinical trials we call it an observation in clinical trials. You are bringing a context. I think that is what is really annoying so many people here, including Malia. Malia has to get annoyed because things are terrible. Things are terrible in this country, especially for ladies. I mean, it is terrible completely. And part of the reason why things are really not working, and especially for women gender, I have had instances of employing people. And I've seen it. In fact, for the last 5 years, yeah, especially in the counties, I've also been in those boards. Hii kupeana kitu igongewe is something real. And so when Malia is annoyed, she's coming from somewhere. And that is what many of our female gender are going through. So I understand her deeply. And I understand the frustration, especially he has with the personality in Ruto. That said I think PP, moving forward, we will have to come up with a space later on to discuss this issue of how do we fold or delve or shelve or put unity. How do people get united in this cause? The issue of Matiang'I, Prof. Kibwana, I also saw Kabando in this place at some point, and any other leaders who are now opposing this government, is a strong issue. Sorry, I come from the lakeside, and that has to come out clearly. It is a very strong issue. It is affecting most of us psychologically, looking at the way things are, the lies, the propaganda, the greed, the PR, yani name it. The a whole flame of nonsense going on. And it is a very serious issue, because now when we say and make a conclusion here that no, we are supporting Matiang'I, and as someone was saying, I love the serious accent Calvin was bringing it on. That is our accent are. But it was literally saying that hatutaki hii mtu akuje hapa atuambie at the end of the day ni sisi tulimpeleka pale aanze kutudharau. And that is very true. That's very true. And that is always happens with so many Africans. If Matiang'I has come out to vie for presidency, we also expect Okia Umtata. These people, I know, in the fullness of time, people will come out and express their interest. But the opinion I'm having is that irrespective, no one is clean. In African setup, no one is clean. But one thing I'm loving in Africa, the wind, the cyclones and storms of change is really, really crisscrossing Africa, the horns of Africa. But one thing we have to know, we are dealing with a rooted system since we sent colonialists home. It is a system that has been here for long. It is not just about Ruto. And in our country, it is our country, Uganda, and some few African countries, I know it is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I just want us not to lose hope, because I'm very sure that if you have a child in your house who is currently a medical officer in town, you know she is or he is now in the house, very depressed. If you have a child who is at Moi University pursuing medicine, you saw some crying. 9 years is not, that's almost a decade. In fact, their colleagues walitoka nayo form 4 wameoa. So if you are such mad, then I'm wondering what is it that can make you not to remove Ruto from power? It is something you start from the household level. This is a discussion we need to take back to the household level. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. Ruto can even get, and I want to support Nani Escowino. I can tell you for free, Ruto can get 55 million votes. He will get. Take it from me. He doesn't fear that. Remember, the person we are dealing with is someone who has studied how polite Kenyans are. Oh my goodness. How democratic we are. How we are resilient. Ruto knows this thing. He really knows that, when you are a narcissist and you have studied your partner well, you can make that person desperate for no just good reason. In fact, sometimes apologizing for what? For something that you are the problem, and he's apologizing. That is why Ruto has placed us. We are dealing with a political narcissist. We will be killed today. He will kill us today, but tomorrow he will come out and blame us that we are treasonous, we are criminals. Do you know that? He is a political narcissist. Na kumtoa, as many people have said, that is something that is not going to be very easy. But the only thing we need to do, it is possible, but it is not going to be very easy. So we have to craft our plans. We have to come up, we have to be smart in short, and we have to know where do we apply. I'm very happy currently, the cartoons are going around are really messing the government down. And they're really shaking, by the way. They're really shaking. I can leave for free. We need to come up with propaganda that are making sense, logic. We need to expose, we literally need to expose the rot in these sectors of government. We need to put this guy in such a way that he is not thinking about stealing votes. Yani, he needs to be away from it. We need to accountability. Every coin, and we don't need to pay tax anyway. This country has a lot of money. Today you had Minister for Finance saying that some people even carry money using trucks from Tanzania. That money doesn't go to the bank. It is used to nile kulipa na mkono kwa watu wa mjengo. That is what is happening. Na hata wengine wanafanya hivyo. It is terrible. So, in short, what I'm saying is that this is something very practically possible. Let's go in. I know you, where we come from. Yeah, where we come from, we are not people who are cowards. We can do everything possible. You know that. This is something practically possible. Removing Ruto, I know, is understanding. But you see, one thing that we need to know, PP, Ruto has learned that Kenyans are really people who are forgetful, resilient, forgiving, and come together. That is where he's getting it. He really wants, and that is why the politics of divide and rule prominently, appears in his rule, in his way of leadership. He has learned, and that is why I'm calling all of us. For now, the only thing we need to do is first consolidate. Let everyone come together, irrespective of who you are, so long as you are pro good governance, and as long as you are calibrating the horns of good governance moving forward. People needs to come together. This unity needs to, where you consolidate. Don't come here and tell us that Pepita is on payroll. No, I think those things we now need to leave them. They are petty. Don't come here and say Morara has been given what is no. Let people come together first. Consolidate Kebota, consolidate Mata, consolidate anyone, every kind of human being who are literally fighting for the interest of good governance. Watu wakuje pamoja. Ikifika 2026, now we will be starting discussing, and it will not be a big deal. Watu tutachuja, literally tutawachuja. When it comes a time to support, when the time comes to support whoever we want to support for presidency, even before 2027, I know it can work. Tutachuja watu, and we will come up with the best candidate. But that candidate must have a serious character of braveness, must really exude character of ruthlessness, and must be very, very combative. But in this case, the combativeness needs to be in a positive manner, pro-people combative approach. Ile, you do things for the benefit of people, the way it is happening with Traore. You don't entertain any political system. In fact, this is something Kenyans know you are right, as outlined in Article 1. You need to give this person what to do. If he doesn't do it, we will be able to eject that person outside. That is how it should be done. We are not in a system. Right now, people should not say, no, I think it is practically, by all means, impossible. No, it is possible, but it is going to be difficult. And because it is going to be so difficult, people need to come together. Opinion needs to be hatched. Kila mtu akwe pamoja. Ideas zinafaa zikuje pamoja. We need to push this thing, all of us. Let us not blame each other. Gaito said this, everyone has a special degree of madness. I am mad in a special way. Let me tell you, I can rant here the whole night. That is my weakness. Esco Wino is a sober guy. We can't match on the table. I will be hitting the table. Everyone has a special level of madness, and everyone is a devil of his own or her own character. But there is that humility that needs to bring all of us together. It is only through unity that Moi had to go. It is only through unity that 2005 referendum had to flop. It is again through unity that we brought in a new constitution. There is power in unity. If people can come together, let's come together. Let us not hear these things of Pipita has been given this, Escovino has given. No, it is not making sense. When ukituma, contribute because you need good governance and you are supporting someone with a good cause. Let us come to the reality that we are dealing with a reckless, practically vicious human being. He is not someone to joke around with. You know, he's not someone to joke around with. After all, how many bloods has he seen? You might not be the only person that is going to put down. Let us come to the reality that we are dealing with someone who has no gas of feeling towards humanity. No, he doesn't have that. Tui kitu tunafaa tukue tumejua, because we have practically seen how this country is now being run. We have seen how combative he is. Adani is here and it is here to stay. Believe me. Everything that are supposed to be implemented under Ruto will be implemented. Believe me. But again, on our side, what we need to be done must be done. Thank you so much, Pipita. Unity kwanza, na lazima tuhakikishe tukiendelea mbele, lazima watu wakue pamoja na tuanze petty, divisive, and things that are just dividing apart, which Ruto knows how to use as a tool to move forward. Thanks so much, Pipita, man. Gonna be here to listen.
All right, we are 11 minutes past 8 p.m. If you're listening in for the first time, this is Home Run with Pipi. Social conversations each and every weekday from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. East African time. We are about 49 minutes to the top of the hour, so I'm going to listen to more people speak to us. I see Research is here with us. Talk to us, Research. How are you doing?
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to have a small contribution to this particular debate, but let me begin by saying that there is no doubt that Matiang'I is a good leader and is a capable leader to fight corruption in Kenya and and push the country forward. But however, let's be fair, Matiang'I is not able to win this particular post, even if we support him in any way. So in Kenya right now, we don't need a good leader. We need a leader who is able to fit within the jungle, because the political jungle of Kenya is not predictable at the moment. It requires those people who are within the system, like the previous speaker, what he said. There is need for people to rethink on how to deal with this particular issue. Because right now, if Matiang'I wants to make sure that he can have impact, he should come to the political scene and start talking to the people, see how he can deal with the tribalism, and these particular issues related to factions. So Matiang'I for him is a good leader, but he may not be able to push for that. Let me say this. If you can see what is happening, at one point in time, people were told that political choices consequences. I think that was an American ambassador who once said so before Uhuru Kenyatta was appointed to this particular position as a president. Because during that particular time, people had seen that Ruto and Uhuru were not eligible to take this post because of the blood that they shed during the particular election. And you see, this is what is happening today. Ruto did not stop that particular habit of killing. It's in him. That is why you discover that the bloodshed that is happening, it has been known. Even the ICC knew that the witnesses were killed, and even now the protesters are now in also. So the center for Ruto is no longer holding. That is why you discover that it is very difficult for him to finish his term. Not because he may be overthrown or what, but even in terms of the issue of the center is not holding, even in terms of the psychology is equally disturbed. Look at what these Catholic bishops are saying today. That particular move is very dangerous for him. He needs to be cleansed by such people Now it's like now people know that this thing has happened. So there is chance that people can take this as leverage because the center is no longer holding. You see, when Ruto came to power, he was not supposed to have the majority in the parliament. He tried to use money to pay people, and that is why he is where he is today now, because he's a kind of man who is using money and whatever. I'm saying this for you to know that Matiang'I, if he wants to come, it may be difficult for him to make sure that things can be okay for him. Let me conclude by saying, Peter, that you see choices have consequences. This is where we are today. Because we made that particular choice, that is why you can see even the borrowings that were taking place that are affecting the country. They started from the choices, even the killing, though they were late to do that. So don't think of good people to take over from William Ruto. You may take some of the dead people who are within this particular political jungle. They can assist to remove him. So praying or trying to think of a good people who can come and remove Ruto is very difficult. You need a dead person who is a better devil to make sure that he can fight the particular devil. Then you can take off from there. Because otherwise the journey is still tough. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rescue, for that. I want to hear from the one and only Ian Saj. Ian Saj, habari yako leo? Iano, are you there? If Ian is not there, let's go to General China. General China, what do you have to say to us?
Yes, I'm here just to echo one thing. You know, one thing like what always bring difference here. You know, me, my anger and everything that always drive me to this revolution is just being that I'm a Gen Z. So I don't know if my generation makes me different with the people from other millennial in terms of pushing. With us, we believe. With us, you know, the moment you start telling us how Ruto is powerful, how strong I am, we always don't care. Because if Ruto was that powerful, that 25th we could have not done those things we did there. So we always believe, we don't always want to hear any message that this guy is so superior. We have seen elections, we have seen president, very powerful president. Even Joe Biden was in the president of America. He had all the instruments of power to retain that power. But because of the will of the people, because of the young people in those nations, what they believe in, he was able to be hosted together with his own team. So me, I always get, my anger always comes when you start praising for me this man. It's like you are praising for me God. You are telling me like, this is God. This is someone whom that like is so powerful that we cannot overturn him. Me, I always believe there's nothing Ruto can. If we manage to scare him together with Raila in that during that time, I always believe that it can happen. So it is very bad that you can come to self. You know, hiyo ndo tunasemanga kutuuzia uoga. Na sisi tulishaamua like we don't tuuzi uoga. You don't sell for us. You tell us how bad this guy is. We believe. If you believe that this guy is so powerful, you believe that he's so powerful that he cannot be changed. Just have your stand and believe in that. Hiyo ndio inafanyanga sisi tunakasirika by the way watu wa Gen. Just tunaamini hakunanga kitu yenye ni ngumu. So if you can't start praising for us history of how this guy has done this, we have seen presidents in this country. Moi was hosted in 2002 by just a weak president like Moi Kibaki that people thought will not overturn the government of Moi. People even thought that Moi will give that government directly to Uhuru Kenyatta because he had the capability to do so. So because the power of the people are united, the people are joined, and they were able to host him out. Why do every time you have to come here to tell us that Ruto is so powerful? My friend, me always say, and I'm so blunt, if you are either with us or you are with them, don't be afraid to announce your stand. No one will crucify you, no one will kill you, no one will deprive you of your right of expression. But don't come to tell us like this person is so powerful, he's so organized, he has done this. Every president in power is organized. That is why when Uhuru was coming to first term, he knew second term was going to be tough. So that's why he organized himself to get the second term. And that one didn't deter anything that happened that time from happening. That one didn't scare people who are vying against him. Right now we are speaking, a very constructive argument of who to bring, which we have even started buying the idea of Fred Matiang'I, because at one particular point we need that radicalism. We cannot say we can't. Ruto, if you see Ruto, even the way he talks in the streets, he talks like in the last election, was there like mtu kama Kalonzo ukiniletea, hiyo nimeshinda mapema. So that's why even us, we have started feeling that we need somebody who is a radicalist, who can find this person to the ballot na hii movement na venye iko na hii pressure yote tumempea, si tuna believe itafanyika. Sisi kenye nafanyanga tukasiriko, waanze kutuuzia like theoretics, like ni huyu jamaa kwa hivi, si atuseme umenunuliwa manini. We are not saying ati mtu amenunuliwa, but hiyo uoga tutakangi kusikia, tunasema it is impossible. How is it impossible? Who is this guy? Like, yeye anakuanga nani? Like, yeye ni nani ndio tumuogope? With us, we are not afraid, and we believe earlier than before. Ama hiyo 2027, me, Ruto is a one-term president. You bet what you want to bet. Me, I can bet with you my liver. I know by that time my liver will still be there. I will give you my liver. I know very well that what I'm standing for is something we'll come to achieve. Very many people are counting on us. Very people are counting on us. That's why we always have these logos with this generation. Millennial tunakosananga kidogo sana because atupatanangi places zingine. With us tuna believe inawezekana na tujawahi ogopa, and we should never be afraid. There are very many young ones of us, young generations, who are also in this movement. Kuna wenye wana print posters every day. You want me to niende niwauzie uoga how dangerous Ruto is? They will beat me, because that's a message they don't even want to hear. That is why Ruto akienda Embu, he was told the message, ulikuwa nasikia nasalimiwa aje oza, hatutambui. We cannot, hatuwezi mtambua, and he knows. Anajua capability. Jana alikuwa Embakasi, he knows the capability. So hatutakangi kuuziwa uoga na wewe. Kama unamuogopa at your own level, wewe muogope. Sisi hatumuogopi, and we believe by 2027 tutamtoa. And that's what I have to say. Mimi nimejaa mtu sana.
Jamani, hamtaki kusikia maoni mengine isipokuwa yenu.
Morara sahi ni ku make sure all youthful people are behind Morara first. Then tuanze kufikiria as we do the civic education vile tutabadilisha wazazi wetu, kwa sababu wazazi wetu sasa wako emotional. They are thinking about mtu wetu ameumizwa, sasa Matiang'I ameingia, sasa Kisii imekatwa mara mbili. So we need to change our thinking and first front the youthful people behind Morara. Unaona? Tukiendelea kusema ati tutaendelea tu na civic education peke yake kama hatuna unity, haita work this time, because the competition has become stiff. Sijui kama unanielewa Dawak.
Yeah. Mimi nakukumbusha.
So we need to change our
nakusikiza.
So we need to change our thinking, unaelewa? We need to change the system that we are using, because game ishabadilika. Hii game imebadilika sana, and Morara anafaa endelee na hiyo civic education, but sasa anafaa concentrate more on the youthful people, because our parents itakuwa tough kuwageuza akili zao, because wamefunzwa ukabila tangu kitambo. So before we win our parents back, we first need to win our youthful people. Unaelewa? Because kura mingi hata iko na sisi vijana. Unaelewa?
Yeah.
So mimi sijui wewe mawazo yako kwa hii ni gani, kwa sababu mimi naona tusiposhikana si vijana tutatupo nje vibaya sana.
Mimi maoni yangu ya namba moja ni ati naungana na wewe 100% kwa sababu gani? Sababu yenye hata mimi nimekuwa nikipush ile agenda namba moja, nimekuwa nikisukuma kwa mtandao, ni sisi kuungana. Zaidi ya yote hata ukisikia nikisupport inject nikipigia debe inject, mimi haswa nadhani nimekuwa nikisukuma sisi kuungana. Sasa tupende tusipende, lazima sasa tukubali ya kwamba lazima sasa viongozi wa movement yetu wajitokeze. Wanasiasa wanaanza kujipanga huu wakati. Kwani sisi tunataka kujipanga lini ndugu zanguni? Hiyo ndio swali yangu nauliza.
Hapo nani Dawak?
Yes.
Okay, acha nianze story ya Matiang'I. Hii story ya Matiang'I, okay. Matiang'I kuingia kwa hii game, okay, anaiweka kuwa ngumu. Hata saa hizi mimi najua pari Ruto wako kama si project ya Ruto, kama amekuja kustand by himself, hata yeye mwenyewe anajua sasa kumeanza kuwa ngumu. But I will speak this, na mtu asiseme ni ukabila, but politics tuongee tu ile ukweli ile kabisa, tuache kujifanya tunaruka kando tunatoka kando. Huyu amesema kumaanisha Kisii imekatwa mara mbili. Ndio ukitaka kujua politics is a game of tribes like hata Ruto anawezeka mtu mwingine hapo kutoka tribe mwingine mwenye tu ako famous ili akatanishe. Ukiangalia kura ya 1992 Moi alipass na 32%. Juu ya nini? Kulikuwa na watu wengi, unapata Wakikuyu walikuwa kama wawili, unapata kulikuwa na kabila yani watu wengi. So our politician wakubwa hata Ruto na Matiang'I unajua this politics is a mind of game ya kucheza na tribes. So kitu ya kwanza tuache kusema ati youths sisi si tribal kwanza. We must be tribal first kwanza, ili hata mimi nikienda kwetu nianze kuongea kabila yangu na watu ya kwetu watasikia, na ili nikiwa push kusupport Morara itabidi naongea Kisii kimimi kikwetu, alafu ndio na fix tu wapi kwa national. So Morara anafaa jitume sana, na kitu ya kwanza mimi naweza sema hii politics ni game of numbers. Hii game of numbers lazima atafute watu wenye wako watu wenye wako na popularity kidogo, hata kama si wanasiasa. Wanabiashara huku nje ni watu wanasaidianga. Kama kuna watu wanasaidianga sana ni business. Ukiangalia hizi nini zote zimekuwa zikifanywa, imekuwa ikifanywa na watu ya business. Ndio huko hapa wewe ndio huko mbele, but mtu mwenye yako nyuma yako ni mwanabiashara mwenye anakusupport, so unaweza julikana haraka. So Morara anafaa push kutafuta ile collusion kenye itampush. Juu ukisema ni yeye peke yake, kuna mtu baada yako huko mbali hata ajui Morara ni nani. Na hata akijua anaona tu huyu tu ni kukuja kutudanganya alafu iende. But ukikuwa na mtu mwenye ako na ile kausemi kidogo itasaidia. Inasaidia sana. Nikikuja kwa my agenda next nilikuwa nikiangalia kama mambo na mafuta. Hii sijui tunasema ati mafuta ilishuka nini. Ukiangalia kwa East Africa paka landlocked countries ziko lower kutuliko. Ukiangalia Tanzania inauza hiyo petroli na 142 hapo. Uganda iko na 172. Sisi tuko 180. Ati na Uganda ni landlocked country, ile kesi tunaipea mafuta ama inatolea Tanzania. But still sisi tuko juu yao, lakini utapata mabloga wa serikali na nini wanaanza kulia wakisema vitu imepunguzwa sijui nini. Nilikuwa nauliza itakuwaje kila siku tunalia about ati mtu anakuja hapa anatuambia mafuta imepunguka, ati unga imepunguka, unga ugali. Tunaishi unga ugali imepunguka lakini hakuna kazi. Inapunguka ifanye nini? Mtu akule na anunue na nini? So hawa watu watisijua wameweka rate atisijui imetoka 9 hadi to 2.7%. Wajue tu ni venye Ndindi alisema kama ni economy kupanda, wananchi wenyewe watasema economy imepanda ama imeshuka. But mtu asikuja hapa kutuambia sijui nini. But ndamalizia hapo. But hiyo vitu ya Matiang'I ni Morara mwenyewe kujipanga saa hizi mapema, kila mtu kumove. Umeona Matiang'I mwenyewe amedeposit hiyo pesa ya watu wenye watampushia hizi vitu. So Morara sikuja hadi 2027 ati ndio upate mtu ati sasa ndio anatafuta mtu. Hapana, game inatafuta saa hii. Kina Kalonzo wenye wanatembea hivi Mount Kenya ni ile anataka labda siku yenye Gachagua, na ndio ujue politics za nini ya ukabila. Gachagua, Ruto nani Kalonzo anaogoja siku yenye nani Gachagua atasema sisi sasa kama Wakikuyu wacha tufuate nani kama ni Kalonzo. Hivyo ndio Kalonzo anaogoja. Sasa saa hii tena
nikikunyang'anya hii microphone malizia nataka nikunyang'anya na point. Malizia nikwambia.
Okay, sawa. Sasa saa hizi unajua Wakikuyu wacha nikwambia wameogoja ni wenye wako Central, hata tuseme hao wazee. Unajua Central by the way, ukiangalia Central by the way usiseme ati youth ndio kona nini sana. Central utaweza pata nini nyingine ndio iko na kura nyingi sana. So Central saa hizi wanaogoja Uhuru aseme nani Matiang'I. Na hivyo ndio itakuwa vitu imeshift. So nani anafaa ajipange mapema. Yaani idea yangu ni kitu ajipange saa hizi mapema na atafuta watu kumsukuma. Nimemaliza.
Haya. Guys, hii uchaguzi tunaenda hii kama Mwenyezi Mungu, kama tutakuwa kama either tukue tumetoa huyu jamaa ama hatujamtoa. Sisi vijana wacheni tuandikisha historia kwanza. wacheni tufanye uchaguzi ambayo itakuwa ya kwanza bila ukabila. Na sasa pia tuombe Mwenyezi Mungu sisi uchaguzi yetu hii ABC yenye tunavuruga sasa. Kwanza sasa ni wakati mzuri sasa, tumesoma na uchaguzi ambao imefanyika Amerika. Hizo ndo systems ambazo tunafanya, tunataka. Hizo ndo tunataka sasa. Hizo ndo tunataka sasa IBC kuwe nazo. Sasa kama Zax anafikiri atawezana na sisi, sisi tuanze kujipanga. Hizi mimi nasukuma sana hii mambo ya IBC. IBC ianze kuangaliwa hivi sasa. Tukifikia pale mbele tutakuwa tushajua hii IBC. Tukisema tufike hapa mbele tutakuwa tushajua hii IBC tunatengeneza IBC inakaa namna gani. Na sasa tutaweza kuikosoa. Tunaelewana? Tutaweza kuikosoa na tutaweza kujua ile IBC yenye tunataka. Juu sasa tukiendelea kupotezewa muda hivi, tunaambiwa mara kuna kesi, mara kuna nini, hatutaweza kufanikisha chenye tunataka sisi kama vijana wa hii Jamhuri ya Kenya. Juu hii mambo ni mbili, either ni before ama ni kwa ballot. Hii mambo ni mbili. Mimi sinanga usemi. Next generation alafu upatie ndugu yetu chairman wala tema anaitwa Simon.
Asante sana.
Wengine wetu wenye tuko
salamu
hapa
za jioni.
Kwema sana, kwema sana.
Nitaanza na salamu ya jioni kwa wale ambao tuko Kenya. Kwa wenzetu ambao hawako Kenya, wengine nitawaambia habari ya asubuhi, wengine nitawaambia habari ya saa 8. Manake unajua hapa Dawat ni international TikTok place for everyone. Diaspora wa Kenya, walioko Kenya. Ni kwa sababu tuko na mambo mazuri hapa. Tuko na mambo mazuri ambaye inatuhusu na ninafurahi kwa vile watu wengi tunapatana hapa. Nimesikia concern hapa. I have heard what the young man was saying. Let me assure you one thing. Matiang'I is another person like any other person. We can have more than them coming. Sisi yetu ni kwamba we need to have a game plan. Let us not be scared ati kwa sababu Matiang'I amekuja, so we are going to be shortchanged. If our game plans are not good, that is where the problem will happen. We must look, wananchi wanataka kuambiwa nini? Wananchi wanafaa kuambiwa nini? Hawa wanabiashara wanafaa kuambiwa nini? So that we bring an idea and polish the leader who we wish ama tu ambaye tunataka awe ndo the coming president. Tukisema tunamwacha vile alivo, huyu ambaye ameweka speaker, please just mute yourself. Tukisema tunamwacha vile alivo, he will not gain ground. We think that he is popular. He's not that popular ambaye tunataka. Nataka niwarudishe nyuma. Wakati Ruto alianza kuingia ground, hakuwa popular, but he switched. Akaanza kutumia lugha ingine ambayo wananchi walikuwa wanataka kusikia, wakasikia. So people started kujiweka na yeye. Ndio sasa ile popularity ikakuja. He has to have what we call a trending word ambaye itamsaidia leo na kesho. Tukisema tu habari ya youth, unajua sasa mtu wote tunamblock. Hawa ni mayouth wanataka mambo yao waachieni. Wataweza peleka inchi. Already that minus it's very bad for us in that voting place. How do we involve those people ambaye sio vijana, they are not youth? How do we make them to be ours so that they can believe us? How do we bring the business people into our affairs? Ili kesho tukishapata, we are not going to give them the same powers that they are receiving at the moment. Whatever you are seeing right now, it is the business people who are trying to get everything from the country. Wale ambao wananchi wanakuwa vile vile. But we need them. How do we bring them on? Mimi ningependa kusema namna hii. Mimi sioni kama kutakuwa president mwingine kuliko Kebaso. So I don't see. Maybe sisi ndo tutake kumfail. But to get to achieve what we are wishing to achieve is we have to brand this man. We need to make him understand whoever is around him, he should have people who will give him information ya Mount Kenya, watu wako vipi, what is the topic there, what are the things that they need to hear from kiongozi, Wabaluya, Wakisipia wakwao, Wacoast, so that he has information every time he goes to Mount Kenya. There is a news that he's giving these people. Sasa unajua hata yule mtu alikuwa hataki kujua mambo yake, anaanza kusema lakini huyu kijana anaonekana anaelewa. That is how politics is. We should avoid kumpatia negative impact katika ground. Kabisa we should avoid. And the only way now we should improve we should make him improve to a second stage. The first stage ameweza kutengeneza jina ni ile kuonyesha all this kind of places. Now is a second stage. He needs to be although tunasema he's a leader, he needs to be a politician. He needs to show that he can be trusted with the country. Umenelewa? His way of talk, engagement, unaona? So the best thing now is to keep, unajua sasa kuna watu watakuwa around yeye, but they don't know whatever wananchi wanatekekana waambiwe, yani in political way. So we need to invite people who will push his political agendas, so that wananchi akisikia anaona huyu mtu amekuwa matured in politics, huyu can be trusted with the country. This young man can bring change in the country. Once we do that, my friend, wacha waje wote kwa upande moja. I'm telling you, nobody anaweza tisha sisi. The only fear that we have is we have concentrated so much, kila kitu tunasema, oh sisi my youth, oh sisi my youth. The worst thing I can tell you, I'm a politician. Wale watu wanauza hii nchi ni my youth. Usiambiwe hawana kura. They are the majority ambayo wanachukua kura, na dhini wao wanatumika kufanya fujo katika mikutano, wao ndio wanatumika kuenda kufanya fujo katika pale ya madebe, you know. So we need to rethink, how are we going to package our president? Once we have done that, I'm telling you, nobody will be talking. Wakuja hata nani na nani. So mimi nitamaliza tu nikisema, it is the advisors wale ambao tutamzungusha nao, the way he is supposed to be talking now, na package gani tunampatia. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Hapo sasa Simon Latema Express
kabisa. Yes, mkwaje?
Niko salama sasa, sana. Vipi wewe?
Mimi niko poa, niko mzima. Leo naona hata umetuwekea Matiang'i sasa, watu wameigiza jeve, baridi watu wameizidi sasa, watu wako na baridi saa hii. Lakini kuna kitu moja,
unajua sasa Wakenya wanachanganyishwa. Unajua mimi mpaka nauliza sasa, Matiang'i amekuja kama project ya nani? Project yake, project ya
Matiang'i ni project ya Uhuru. Kitu ya kwanza mjue hiyo. Number 2, watu waache kuona hii kitu kama ni mchezo. Na mimi nasema watu wakubaliwe na mkubali tu, hata kama sisi tunashikia Morara. Hii maneno yetu iko nyuma kidogo kuliko hawa wanasiasa wakubwa. Number 1, vile tu uko na maumbwa wengi kwa boma, ujue ndio sauti ya maumbwa bado inabweka, na kila mwizi bado anaogopa kuingia hiyo boma. So tukubali, maumbwa wengi watatusaidia kuchagua ni nani tunaelekea pande gani. Ndio ujue ubwa wako ule mzito ni nani anaweza simamia boma. Number 2, sisi kama watu wa Mount Kenya ama watu wa Kalenjin ama Waluya ama kila mtu wako the whole country, kuna kitu moja nataka kila mtu ajiulize na ajue. Sisi tumefinyiliwa sisi wote na mtu anaitwa William Samuel Ruto. Sisi zote tuko na machungu na tunataka kutoa mtu anaitwa William Samuel Ruto. So kila mtu wote tunajua tumefinyiliwa na sisi tuko na moto. Ila kitu inaweza tusaidia kama ni kushika mtu mmoja, tunajua tunashika Morara, tunamsukuma mbele,
tunamsukuma mbele, kila mtu anajua tunamshikilia, lakini kuna timu mafisi na wale watu wanashikilia Morara pale juu. Kuna watu wataitwa mmoja mmoja na wako na tamaa ya pesa. Already unajua pesa ni shetani. Ukiitiwa pesa hutakataa. Sasa swali yangu ni moja. Matiang'i saa hii gazeti ya leo alikuwa huko. Kuna kitu hapa inaweza tu save na hapo ndio watu watafunguka macho. Leo tulikuwa na mtu fulani wa ODM, mwanasiasa hapo MP. Nilikuwa town leo. Lakini kuna kitu ODM inacheza chini ya maji. Hii kiti ya internal, mtu anaitwa William Samoei Ruto wameanza kumpea pressure. Juu inatakikana ipewe ODM. Number 2, wanataka kiti ya Wetangula ya speaker National Assembly. Na saa hii akikataa atakaliwa na ODM na impeachment wamesema inakaribia. So Ruto ako na maji kwa tumbo saa hii. Amekaliwa na watu wale wanaingia kwa siasa kama watu kama Matiang'i. Uhuru amerudi Kenya. Gachagua na yeye kutoka jana ameanza kumoverdose ile ndawa sasa. Huyo mtu ako na pressure. Sasa hii akikataa kupeana kiti ya internal na ya speaker kwa ODM wanataka impeachment. Na already unajua kuna ma MP wameregulate kutoa Gachagua. So hawa watu wakishikana wote maneno itachemuka. So ile kitu inafaa watu wajipange chini ya maji. Sisi tujipange chini ya maji. Morara akuje ground. Asikize vizuri, tusikize pamoja watu wale Mirinio na Gen Z. Wakuje chini sasa. Tujipange pole pole. Juu pia Gen Z ilikuwa imetangaza Matiang'i inaweza kumshikilia. Sasa maneno hapa mimi nauliza nyinyi muniambie maneno hapa sasa ni matatu. Kuna watu wanaingia kwa siasa na wanashikiliwa na serikali ile ilipeana uongozi ya Uhuru. Kuna watu wanataka wakikataa kupewa ile vitu wanataka na mtu anaitwa Ruto wamuimpeach na already impeachment inaweza kuja. So Ruto hana msimamo sahi. Hata anashindwa ni mbele ama ni nyuma. Na watu raia wote wa Kenya wako na machungu. Kwa hivyo hata Ruto akiambiwa impeachiwe saa hii hata hatujuezi jua tunachagua nani. Watu wengine watachagua Matiang'i, wengine kama Gachagua atakuwa wamchague. Sasa hiyo ndio utaona tutapotesha mwelekeo. Na huyu mtu akijipanga vizuri unaweza ona maneno ikichemka siku nyingine. So unauliza nyinyi kama advisor tuko hapa turudishe akili yetu pamoja. Muniambie munaona aje juu hii maneno nimekuambia saa hii tulikuwa na mtu wa ODM na wanataka wapeo kiti ya internal na wanataka ya National Assembly. Kutafanyika aje? Muniambie tu discuss.
Nikujibu, niongee kidogo. Naongea vizuri. Naona mtu anaitwa Gachagua. Mnanisikia kweli?
Tunakusikia.
Unajua Gachagua si hakuwa impeached. Si tunajua hiyo. Saa hii ni ngumu yeye kutafuta kiti kwa sababu bado kuna kesi in court. Sasa what we need, ndio maana nimesema hapa kuna umuhimu ya kupata wale tunawaambia wale wanafanya operation ya kijana wetu waende mbele. We need all the helps right now. Kwa sababu hao wengine walikuwa kwa serikali, they have machineries, they can do anything. But if we stick ati ya kwamba tutaenda hivi ati wa Kenya watu tutusaidia ati kwa sababu tumeteseka na Ruto, I'm telling you, you will be surprised. You will be surprised. Najua watu wengi wamebabaika kuhusu Matiang'i ati kwa sababu alikuwa na jina alifanya, lakini Matiang'i ako na siri ambaye zikitoka watu watashtuka. So let us, I'm repeating myself, let us package him in a different way. Kwa sababu huyu unajua hana madoa. Hao watu wote walikuwa kwa siasa, kila mtu ako na madoa. Umenelewa? That is the only thing. Let us get help by all means tuhakikishe kijana wetu amekalia kiti.
Dawa tuambie hapo maneno itaenda aje. Tunataka ututofautia hapo. Maneno itachemuka mpaka wapi?
Unajua nilivyokwenda Githunguri. nisikie tu vizuri. Unajua kuna vitu vingine uwezi ukafanya direct. Niliambiwa na Goka. Ananiambia unaona ile maji pale usiichezee, unaweza kuona tini maji kidogo, ukaweka mguu ukaenda na maji.
Yes,
so what you do, chukua miti, ekelea mwanzo miti, angalia maji imefika wapi.
Hata kwa Kikuyu kuko na themes inaongea hivyo. Kabla uvuke mto ukiona mahali maji imenyamaza.
Nimekwambia nilivyokuwa Githunguri. Kwani wewe ni wa wapi?
Yes, mimi ni Moranga.
Yes. Sasa ndio mimi nakwambia. Goka ndo ameniambia hivyo. Sasa nimesema kitu hapa. Nimesema madamu huyu jamaa ako impeached. Umenelewa? There is something that he needs now. Hata kubali huyu jamaa aende vizuri. Nike? Ate?
Naendelea.
So ndio ninasema huyu jamaa saa hii he needs to empower certain opposition ambaye anaweza kuitegemea kesho imuondolee hiyo kesi. This is how politics have been done. So what I'm saying, he can be a very good tool kufungua tairi.
Ujue saa hii Gachagua amebeba population ya Mount Kenya na tunajua hivyo already. Sisi tumekuwa watu wa tuko na Gachagua na maneno mengine tunaona bado tunamshikilia. Number 2, huyu mtu anaitwa Uhuru Kenyatta akisema ni Matiang'I, maneno itageuka sana na kutakuwa kubaya kuliko vile sisi tunafikiria. Number 3, kama watu wa ODM wataanza kusubua mtu anaitwa Ruto, siasa zinageukanga na siku moja ama siku mbili. Unaweza pata kesho maneno imechemuka, sasa tumeanza lingine hatukuwa tumepanga.
Yes. Like, what do you think solution to life lies? Do you think it lies in politics? It's a big no. Hakuna mahali politics imewai solve. No, hey, because you're relying on politics. It never solved.
But there is no life without politics. There's no life without politics. Now, that's what I'm telling you. I'm answering your question. Look, when we had other president, the situation in Kenya was not. No. There is a big change right now. There is no money in Kenya. There is no jobs. There is no security.
Can you document
There's no security.
You cannot. Sorry? You cannot even document the change.
Domi, wacha nikwambie kitu moja. Wacha nikwambie kitu moja. Sikiza kitu moja. Nikwambie kitu moja sahihi. Maneno inaweza change kwa nini? Sahi makanisa imeingia kusema kama Ruto hatatoa watu wa IBC nominate watu wa nini? Makanisa wameingilia hii siasa. Ndio nakuambia siasa inaweza change kitu kidogo sana ukiona kama ni mchezo.
So unafikiria hiyo maneno maisha ya mwanadamu. That's what you're saying.
Haiwezi, lakini unajua nakwambia hivyo kwa nini?
My friend, it is the truth. Look, listen. You live by the law.
Give evidence.
I'm giving you now. I'm giving you.
Domi, kwenye huko haiwezi, lakini Kenya lazima.
Kenya inaweza.
Na inaweza.
Na inachangiwa na kitu kidogo sana.
Dawa, wewe unasema nini? Huko ndio zaidi. Wewe acha nikwambie. Let me tell you.
Abu tusikize.
Talking out of emotion.
Dawa, wacha nikwambie. Tuseme siasa ya siku hizi.
Order everyone. Let's be orderly kidogo. Esther, uko hapa kidogo, acha tutulize hii moto. Esther, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been waiting to speak.
Esther.
Vipi?
Get the mic.
Hello.
Kwema
kabisa.
Shapigiwa simu, unafika unasalimu, unapigiwa.
Habari zenyu nyote? Niko na jibu la Simon. Niko na jibu la next generation. Next generation anauliza tunamtegemea nani? Tunajitegemea si wenyewe. But let me tell you, tunaishi hapa duniani na ya duniani ya walimwengu. So we as humans are being given the power to control what narrative we live by. So huwezi sema, unauliza swali ati unategemea nani, unafaa ujitegemee how? when it comes to politics, ni mobilization. What can Morara do to mobilize? Ndio sisi wote tunataka achukue.
Esther, point of correction. I did not say tunategemea nani. If you have listened to me properly, what I said, Morara has done a better job. But yes, what I said, don't nataka to repeat so that you can correct me if I'm wrong. But we cannot let Morara stay on the same platform. Unajua ningazi, politics is ningazi. We need more people. We need more people to support Morara. We cannot be talking. 1 minute, let me finish. We cannot be talking of Morara. Tuwe tuna kila siku tunaongea, lakini hiyo salamu inabakia within that nini TikTok page.
Yes.
What I said right now, what I said is we need to package him. So whenever he goes, he can sell without atiwe ni agenda ya vijana. Watu wamuone yeye as a leader. That is what I said about.
Mimi naona
by doing that,
so why are you banking
on him? Why?
So, for me, Morara amefanya kazi mzuri sana kuonyesha watu wameibiwa kweli. Like anakuja na analeta audit, analeta, you know, the real documentation, na anasema kumeibiwa. So 100% I back him because ametuonyesha hatuna kitu, ziko kwa mifuko za watu. Mali ya umma inaendanga direct to somebody's personal account. So kwanza na msupport ndio ashike watu, kwanza kuwe na jela just corrupt people, aijenge mpya. Just corrupt people. Matiang'I is one of the corrupt people in Kenya. I hope nobody think of voting him. Mimi naomba Morara aende, you know those governors and MPs that went with the independent candidate, walichuzua like independent, hawakuwa na chama yoyote na bado hawajakuwa tainted, hawajajoin chama yoyote. Aende watafute ndio aanze kutembea kwao. Akitembea kwao na wao na walishachaguliwa watu wanawapenda kama Selasi, ito Selasi. Huyo kijana bado kwa I hear he's doing a good job. Mtu kama Kawira, ule mama wa Meru anashindanga akipigwa impeachment. That one alikata kabisa kujoin nini government. Na ndio maana anatesangwa hivyo. That could be a very good deputy president for Morara. Kwanza atakuwa ameshachukua Mount Kenya. So aanze kutafuta those people, ndio maana akitembea tuseme let's say leo ameenda Kware, atafute mwenye akupata na alikuwa kama independent candidate. Atembe na wao, akienda huko pia na elevate in the process. Anasema huyu ndio mtu wangu. Pole pole. That's my idea because the reason why kuna hii shida yote ni juu hatukuprojectiwa like in Central. I'll give an example because that's where I come from. Uhuru alitupea mtu mwenye tunajua already is corrupt and we don't want him. From time immemorial, ilikuwa shida kabisa. Huyo ndiye aliacha ametupea miaka 20 yake ya kuwa MP 10 na 10 ya kuwa president. He did not akuchukua kijana yote hivi akamfanya venye yeye.
Sasa umeongea sasa. Sasa hii ndio umeongea sasa.
Akuchukua kijana yote
it's okay.
Ule mtu ametulelea nyoka. Ule mtu ametulelea nyoka ni Uhuru.
I'm just about to finish. Just one more minute. So akutuletea mtu yote kijana mmoja tu akamlea venye alilewa na Moi for 10 previous 15 years before juu alikosa ya kwanza akachukua 2 kama MP.
But what's your idea?
The idea is Morara should.
What's your idea of change? Your idea, not other people.
My idea of change for me right now is we need new people, totally.
So if new people come in, then
totally
your life is
new
gonna
parliament,
be okay.
new government.
Domi, let me answer you. You know the question people don't understand, and I'm going to tell you straightforward so that you can hear us. Don't think that we are not intelligent. Don't think we're not intelligent here.
Tuko hapa na agenda yetu, hatutakubali any disruption.
Ndio ninaona vile anakuja huyo, hakuji vizuri. Dawa umefanya kitu ya maana. Huyo hakuji vizuri.
Ni about Dawak. Can I just quickly say something alafu nitoke please?
Asante nataka kukupea dakika zako 2. Sawa, zichukue basi. Ama Esther malize alafu uchukue. Let Esther finish then you take over.
1 minute tu. So for me Kenya tukupoa na Uhuru, nataka Morara apewe advice na mtu atafute sahi mapema. Aende atafute hao watu wenye wao wali lose ama wako in candidate waliingia independently. aende Mount Kenya kwanza, atafute na anze kutembea kwanza. Akiweza kutembea na huyo mama atakuwa popular very quickly. Huyo Meru governor huyo mwenye anateswa hivyo, watu kwa ground wamemkatalia kweli, lakini government inamtoa. He will be very popular very quickly. Anybody from Mount Kenya, ninajua ni Meru lakini from Mount.
Ngoja asante. Ngoja sawa, mtetezi order kila mtu. Unajua nimejua hiyo mtetezi itakuwa kisha kusikia Kawera, but Kawera is not competent. Esther kama Mountain mnatafuta viongozi, take time kujua viongozi ni watu aina gani.
Nasema si ati lazima awe ndio huyo, lakini mtu ambaye atamelevate kidogo aanze kujulikana kwa ground, because now we the young people do know him, but what about our parents? You know, the older millennials.
Esther, mimi nataka nikuambie hivi, nikikunyang'anya mic nipe asante. Nataka nikuambie hivi, hata wewe mwenyewe labda uko na nguvu kuliko huyo Kawera Mwangaza, ni venye hujatest ground. So sisi hatutaki hata support ya Kawera Mwangaza, tunataka yako na familia yako. Hii movement itasonga.
Ni kweli. Haya, thank you.
Yeah, usishuke kaa tu hapo. Asante my sister. Kila mic.
Hey, habari zenyu kila mtu. Mine is going to be very quick. Number 1, let nobody ever think Matiang'I ndio dawa. Matiang'I, during his reign as CS, Matiang'I aliua Wajaluo Kondele. Matiang'I killed Luos. Unakumbukanga hashtag stop killing Luos? I don't know if you guys can remember, if there are some people who are still here. Yes, Matiang'I is giving dictatorial vibes. Matiang'I is going to be worse. Like the lady who ameongea, I agree with her. We need a complete change of this whole regime. We need a set of new people from head to toe. Amesema one thing that is very important, Morara needs to get good mentors, because politics is a dirty game. And there's no way they're going to... Politics in Africa is controlled by the little elite in Kenya. So he needs to know how to penetrate that system. He just needs a mentor. He needs somebody positive. As of Matiang'I, please, you people need to stop thinking that Matiang'I is going to come and save you. Matiang'I is equally bad. Baby Pendo, mnakumkanga Baby Pendo ule alipigwa bunduki kwa nyumba?
Yes.
It was under Matiang'i's reign. No family was ever compensated during that time. So the whole regime needs to go home. We need to start on a clean slate. These old people, all of them need to go home. All of them.
My sister, usiende please, nimefurahi sana vile umeongea. Dawak.
Yes.
Umesikia hiyo? Baby nani?
Yes, unajua huyu ni mwalimu wangu sasa, ni student mimi.
Haya ni sawa. Ni sawa.
Baby Pendo was
tunataka saa hii, sikia everybody, saa hii tuanze kuleta topic ya Baby Pendo. Tulete ile hashtag stop killing the Luos. This will start making him look, yani unajua tutaanza kumteremsha polepole.
Na wacha nikwambie, Twitter ilikuwa ishawaka, hata Rivayala ilikuwa ina trend akikumbushwa. Skado mingi sana ambazo zilifanyika pia.
Hata unajua adie alituambia juzi ati tutoka kwa TV tuende kwa digital na tukue tunalipia. Unajua huyo jamaa pia ni mang'aa.
Yes, Roraka land scandal pia. So hizi vitu zote za Matiang'I nimeona zimefufuka leo, zimekuwa number 1. So next generation kuna story liletwa hapa sasa, hata before muende na asante, either you support ama mkatae nayo. Jana Ruto amepeana pesa kanisa huko Kayole. Sasa Wakenya leo walikuwa wanataka tuanzishe leo jioni hashtag hiyo sadaka irudishwe kwake. Kuna harambee kanisani. Hata kanisa tunastahili tusimamishe kanisa upya. Kuna arudishiwe sadaka. So ni Mkenya mmoja alikuja hapa asubuhi. Ngoja kwanza, let me make it clear before nikujie ama wanifuate kesho. Ni Mkenya mmoja amekuja asubuhi hapa akatoa hayo maoni. Twende kazi next generation, and asante tu.
Yeah, I think that is the idea now. Every loopholes ambayo tunaweza tumia tuhakikishe tumebadilisha Kenya, we should use it. Unajua pia kama huyo mwenye alikuwa anauliza mambo ya siasa sijui nini. Siasa is part of our life. With good politics, our life are better. With bad politics, our life are not good, as we see. So anything that we can pick up and make sure that Morara gets more to become more popular, it's what we need to do. My sister huyu ambaye anaitwa Asande Vicky, please be talking too much, because we don't want other people who come and talk nonsense ambaye wanaturudisha nyuma. We need ideas, we need this information. As I said, I think everybody is backing me on one way or another. We need now to package our leader, kwa sababu ni lazima tumuache watu wamzoee, watu wamjue, waelewe kama anaweza kuwa nchi na kabadilisha.
Chukua butu letea Morara hapa, mwambie tunamtafuta hapa saa hii. Najua kwa available. Nimeona alikuwa na mwambie tunamtaka hapa.
Hizi vitu ndio anatakikana asikie. Hizi vitu anatakikana asikie. Lazima sasa awe
Yes, asante.
So kwa anaitwa nani Asante Vicky, umenipea idea moja. Unakumbuka time ya Gen Z nini mgomo? Unakumbuka zile posta watu walikuwa wanaweka kwa online? Unakumbuka venye zilikuwa zinaandikwa hapo, let's say kama sahi kuna posta zinaweza tengenezwa za Matiang'i, don't vote Matiang'i, don't usifall for his lies, tukasema Vayala, Baby Pendo, any scandal ashaipatikana nayo, you know, hashtag don't kill Luos. Hizo posta zikitengenezwa zianze kutrend online. He's finished before he even started. That's my idea anyway for now.
Yes, asante. Huko umemaliza before nikunyang'anya mic.
Nitamalizia dawa kumesema ile pesa ilitolewa inafaa kurudishwa. If truly the Catholic Church is standing with us, then the Catholic Church should put that money back and tell him that there are so many other things that are more important than building the bishop a house. That 5 million can go towards educating children in that area. It can go towards building a health center around that area. It can go towards something constructive. He needs to stop giving churches gifts, and the church needs to stand firm. For me, what I learned when I left Kenya 20 years ago, coming Maju, they use religion to manipulate the masses. Na religion ni nani wamejaa huko? Ni wazazi wetu. Wengi wao ndio wamejaa huko. So our parents still have that mindset ya kitambo, and they're easily vulnerable and can be easily changed. I am even shocked because the whole church, no, there's only one lady who attempted to stand. Why didn't people stand in church? And mwanza tu kushout, Ruto must go. If all of you stand, Ruto must go, what will happen? What our arrest nyinyi wote? They cannot arrest all of you. And it's going to be shameful. So the church needs to stop accepting brown envelopes, and they should tell them if they really want to donate towards the church, that money should go towards helping the community, not the church itself. The Catholic Church has way too much money. Way too much money. Hizo envelopes zinaenda kwa individual. So, and I think every time now, because they're not listening, every time they show up in church, the youths who are in church should start standing up. We should stop this immediately. Immediately. Thank you.
Thank you mwalimu wangu. Guys, hebu niambieni pesa irudishwe ama isirudishwe? Hapo chini mniambie, tuanzishe hiyo hashtag. Irudishwe. Kanisa inaitwaje? Hiyo kanisa ilikuwa jana inaitwaje? Hiyo pesa irudishwe, harambee tutafanya.
Unasema pesa isirudishwe sababu hiyo pesa baada kurudisha huko Embu kuna university. Wanahitaji makompyuta, kuna watoto yatima huko, pesa igawanywe itumwe na ionyeshanwe imetumwa huko.
Sasa tumesema pesa ya jana, hatuko kule Embu, sisi tunazungumzia pesa ya jana.
Pesa ya jana tulisema irudishwe, isaidie watu wale wamekwama kwa hospitali. Kuna watoto hawajafanya hata mtihani wa university. So maneno zingine tuache kukua nazo. Unaenda kupeana pesa kanisa ya nini?
Ni ile
watu wako na mashida.
Ni ile kujengea bishop.
Zile si walitoa 12 million jana.
Ndio nasema sasa haja kurudisha. Kuna watu kwa ground wana shida, zipewe mayatima.
Esther, can I tell you something? Yes. Itakusaidia to make a decision.
Guys,
let me tell you something. They pay 5 million, they take 50 million. Wakitoa 5 million wanachukua 50 million. So
kurudisha
mnanisikia mimi na hanga
jambo ya kumuonyesha
sisi tunataka kusema hivi kwa kanisa. Mimi naomba msamaha kwa Wakristo ikiwa nitakosa pahali. I'm a Muslim by faith, but I'm saying what I know. Ata Yesu alisema ya yule sijui nani apewe yeye, na ya kanisa ibaki kwa kanisa, ama sio hivyo? Kuna hiyo
Kaisari, acha kusema Kaisari aliitisha pesa.
Kaisari
akaambia Simon Peter, sisi hatuna pesa, so enda kwa mto tafuta samaki na utatoa ngapi? Shilingi 2. Moja ni yetu ya kutumia, moja ni ya kulipa.
As a community tukishikana, ile shilingi nitatoa na ile Esther atatoa, itasaidia zaidi kuliko hii ya Kaisari ambaye anakuja kutuletea 5 milioni anachukua 50 million. Tunataka kujua hizo pesa anazitoa wapi ambapo Wakenya wanaumia. So if we reject taking this small bribes, hii mwanzo tunataka tuambie watu wa kanisa, kwa sababu wanasiasa wanalikwa sana kanisani. Tunataka tu tuambie watu wa kanisa wao wana suppose ku elevate communities and not demolishing them. At the moment watu wanashindwa hata kwenda makanisani because there is no life, hakuna opportunities zile ziko. Unaona, they should take themselves away, kwa sababu tangu ashike kiti tumeona mambo ya uaji, tumeona mambo ya unyanganyaji, mambo mengi. So we want to say ya Kaisari tutamwachia Kaisari, ambayo tunamwambia huko we don't want your bribe. Hatutaki. We will have to fight for our country. We'll have to fight for our country back. Tena very powerfully. Kwa sababu alitumia makanisa, and I can say this, kwa sababu I was part, wacha nimalize. I was part alivyoanza siasa, manake mimi nilikuwa Jubilee mwanzo. So alianza na siasa ya makanisa, alijenga makanisa nyingi, akienda akitoa pesa. So what I'm saying right now, it should not be used again, because even hawa mapadri, they have seen huyu mtu walikuwa wakimwekelea mkono amekuja kuumiza makanisa, and that is why we should not allow this to happen again.
Okay, good. Nataka kushika hiyo microphone hapo. Yes, Asante.
Let's just try and make it very uncomfortable for them when they go to churches, because they are having it too easy. Na inaonekana these pastors and preachers are afraid of them also. A few are standing up. But when the church says next Sunday the president is coming, we all go and make it very uncomfortable for him until he stops, because we are making it very easy. Mimi naona Wakenya bado mmesimama kwa line, mnamwambia goda tena Ruto, watu wanamshauri. What the hell? The way he's making us uncomfortable, that is how we are supposed to make him uncomfortable. Okay, thank you.
Kenya church ikirudi kwa example, a good example, to be the beginning of the shame. Hiyo tu ikirudishwa.
Good. Ndo hiyo sasa. Good, hii wiki imekuwa moto sana kwa William Ruto na kanisa. Na nataka ieleweke hivi. William Ruto, Wakenya wenye wako kwa hii platform hawachochei Wakenya. Ninajua wenye DCI mnaniambia hakuna mtu anachochea mwingine. Hayo ni maoni ya Wakenya. Sasa mnataka nisemange hapa this is for entertainment purposes only. Sawa. Nimesema hizi odhreta tununue. Kitu yenye tunasema ni hivi. Kanisa nyinyi ndo mmesema William Ruto ni corrupt, mumesema hatimizi promise. Kwa hivyo hata akileta pesa, basi tufanye nini? Tusikule pesa ya corrupt. Ya kanisa ibaki kuwa ya kanisa, ya serikali ibaki kuwa ya serikali. Mimi Mkenya akakuja hapa asubuhi, akaniambia dawa yako ukifungua jioni, anzisha debate ya pesa yenye ilitolewa jana kanisani, uliza Wakenya ama wanataka irudishwe. Kama kanisa inataka ichangiwe na Wakenya, lakini si wanasiasa. Kanisa penye imefika imejengwa na Wakristo, haijajengwa na wanasiasa. Mimi nikasema mimi leo nikikuja hapa jioni, juu ni maoni ya Mkenya mwenzetu anakujanga hapa, nitawauliza hata nyinyi. Ni vizuri kanisa irudishe sadaka ya viongozi wafisadi kama hiyo kanisa ya jana ya Kayole. Ni vizuri warudishe hizo pesa kwa Zakayo. Tuambieni hapa pia kwa comment section, na pia tuendelee kutap na pia kushare. Na kama hata utapata hao viongozi wa kanisa au mapadri na mafadha, kuja hapa chini, kope hii link, watumie, waambie hapa kuna yao inazungumzwa. Share hii kwa wao. Okay?
Dawak, nataka nikuulize swali tu kuhusu hiyo mambo ya CCI. Kwani sisi wa Kenya hatuna ruhusa kuongelea masala ya Kenya? Hatuna silaha, hatuendi tukapiga watu.
Dawak siku hizi yako kwa listi ya wenye wanasikizwa siku hizi na government.
Ndio, lakini na mimi nataka wanisikie niulize, kwa sababu as Kenyans we have a right to talk about issues as far as they are genuine. Hata kama wao wanaona sio genuine, it is a matter of debating. Even in the parliament people debate about laws, unaona. Na sisi kama wa Kenya ni wapigaji kura, we need to be talking loud so that people could understand. Wale ambao hawaelewi na wale wanaelewa waje wa contribute. We have a discussion, and that is how a healthy country becomes, when a discussion is allowed for to be freely and fair, as far as it does not make people get harm. Atuumizi mtu. We are saying what is the fact, we are saying what is the truth. Na tumeona kitu imetendeka, we are not happy with it. We are allowed to talk. It is a free country. Our great grandfathers fought for it, and we are free, and we have a katiba which allows us. This is our country, and nobody should threaten people. Hata kama wamepewa crown, they should not be doing things like that. It is a discussion which everybody can. Hata wao waje watukosoe, watuambie hapa mnavunja sharia, hapa mfai kuongea hivi. Let them bring the law and say that we cannot be talking about these things. Then tutajua kama tunavunja sharia, kwa sababu sisi we are lawful citizen. Na we mind about our country. We have seen countries that have fallen. It is because the government are not actually listening to their people. And hatutaki sisi kupelekwa kama wazungu. Koloni uliisha. It's a country where we can talk and discuss and move forward. That is all. Kama the president cannot the people that loves him, watu wampendi, wakubali. That is how it is. Because if angekuwa anafanya kitu ambaye inaweza kumtetea practically, and everybody nobody hangempinga, nobody. Ushaona? So we are saying that he came and he lied to us, and as a human being we have to say as it is. He lied, whether he likes it or not. Kama anaona tunakosa, arudi atufanyie vile mambo amesema. Atuonyeshe serikali ya mama mboga na bodaboda, atuonyeshe ya kwamba hatutapelekwa vile walikuwa wakisema watu wasitumiwe KRA, wasitumiwe ma DCI. Let him show us now there's a different Kenya. He has come and changed Kenya, and once he does that, we are ready to stop talking. Thank you.
Okay, good. Lona Wolf, tuma request guys, nikishika microphone baada ya next generation. Kama tunapigana na ufisadi kila mahali. Kuna mtu ananiuliza hapa chini, ati hata kama ni mimi ningepewa hizo pesa ninaweza rudisha. Kanisa si individual. Hivyo ndo nataka nikuambie. Kanisa si mtu. Hapana, hivyo ndo nataka nikuambie siku ya leo. Kanisa sio mtu. Kaa ukijua hivyo. Na penye Kenya imefika, jambo ambalo nataka wewe uelewe ni ya kwamba hizi institutions zote ambazo unaona zimejengwa na kanisa, hizo unaonanga mpaka akina Kijabi, ma universities, hazijawahi semekana ya kwamba ni wanasiasa wanachanga. Kwa hivyo hatutaki mchango ya wanasiasa. Na kama kanisa ni ukweli mnapigana na Zakayo, hata hizo michango za Jumapili mumrudishie, hata nyinyi msizichukue. Hebu sema, alafu nipe EFF, alafu nirudisha kwa mtetezi Esther, and then say more. Wengine pia we still got more 2 boxes.
Host, thank you for the opportunity. I am pro change, okay? Because this is our country. Now we are supposed to fight for it.
But there are things I want to put across. And I hope you'll get my point. First thing, like I've said, I am pro-change. The things that are happening in our country are not things I would want to see my children or the future generations experiencing. But there is something that is...
Why are you explaining your introduction? Bana? Kwa nini bana unafanya ukue suspicious hata before unini point yako?
Just weskiza 2 point napitisha. It's not, the problems that we have are not about just Ruto. It's the system that we have. Okay? There is a point yenye someone may ignore hapo juu of a time when Matiang'I alifunga TV stations. And now he feels like the right choice. So what is it about the system that we have changed that will make him a better choice? Alafu, there is something I observed a few weeks ago, especially when we had issues with the president, the first time we had issues with the president. And then I had people castigating Ruto for the things he's doing, which I do not approve. I do not like them. But kuna vitu zingine, you go to offices, you find rude bosses who are very rude, who are very arrogant. You go to schools, you find rude principals. You go to homesteads, you find abusive husbands. You go to, yani all over, the systems are rotten. Unaingia kwa ofisi, manze unapata mdosi, ako sijui aje, ni arrogant, mishahara na delay, anaongea vitu mbaya. You go to homes, unapata irresponsible fathers, they do not provide for their families, they are full of lies. So it is a system change that we need to do. Isikuwe ni issue ya Ruto peke yake, because we have had politicians who wanaongelelea hii mdomo moja when they are not, for example, in government. Wakiingia hiyo side ingine, they change, wanakuwa wanaonekana watu wazuri. An example, what triggered my sentiments ni hiyo statement hiyo msee amesema hapo juu that we had Matiang'I shutting down TV stations sometime back wakati alikuwa minister wa interior. Besides that, I am not saying two wrongs don't make a right, okay? It's a system change that we need to address. There were abductions and killings time ya Uhuru. But when there are people right now wanasifu, praise Uhuru that he is the best president we ever had. We even had senators when walikuwa wanakuwa abducted during debates. So it's a system change that we need to do. Hata kama Ruto is the head of the rotten system, kuna vitu zingine zenye even ourselves we need to change about how we deal with our daily activities, kila mahali, everywhere, in our offices, in our homes, everywhere. So even as we look to change the system, even in the church, kila mahali, everywhere, even you yourself, so that we come up with a generation that will be issue-based into the future, our children and our children's children. Look at yourself. Zile vitu zenye unafanya ukiwa job, wewe ni supervisor. How do you handle your people hapa chini? If you are a boss somewhere, if you are a director somewhere, the people that are below you, the promises that you make, umehaya mtu, ukamwambia that the company takes care of new employees. Do you keep your word? Kwa sababu, you cannot, uwezi badilisha kichwa huko juu, na huko chini everything is rotten. There are people, let me give you a very good example. We have this guy called Morara, who has very good issues. I saw him when Simba Arati alikuwa anakaribisha Ruto Kisii, alikuwa kwa gari ya Simba Arati akicheka hapo nyuma. So then it begs the question, if he is very genuine about zile vitu zenye anatuambia that he wants change for this country, why is he somewhere kwenye the same person he is castigating?
I also voted for William Ruto. Hiyo kitambo hata mimi I also voted for William Ruto. Sasa mtu asibadilishe, sinani hawezi badilisha fikra zake ndugu zangu.
So ndio nasema like I said,
hiyo ni point ndo nauliza aje. Yes, alikuwa na support William Ruto. Ndo nauliza alikuwa na support William Ruto. Juu alikuwa na support William Ruto.
Hiyo video ni ya juzi ba. Hiyo video ni ya juzi.
Ndio. Si juzi ni ile ni kitambo ndugu yangu. Bana, msikue hivyo. Na nimekuambia venye umesound ukiingia.
Anyway,
I felt you energy.
if I am wrong by saying that what we need to change is the entire system, including how
No. That's not the point. That is the point. That's not the point. We noted your point ya kutuambia about the system, and that's a tick. But huko kwingine, ndugu yangu.
All right, thank you.
If utaanza kuattack mtu juu alikuwa na support mtu fulani. Personally, me, I was supporting William Ruto. I mean, I was supporting Baba, and now I'm not supporting him. Kuna mtu mwingine hapa alikuwa na support William Ruto. Guys, let's unite. Tusianze kuangalia tulikuwa na support nani ama nani. It's about sahi tuungane against the political class bwana.
Alafu mnajua kama Morara
bado Mike
video amepigwa picha mingi sana in his past. Usisahau ni mtoto wa politician, ametoka kwa family of elites.
Guys, that's not an issue. That's not an issue, guys. Kupigwa picha na mwanasiasa, it's not an issue.
Ndio nasema hizo
hebu maliza alafu nirudi kwako Esther.
Yeah, please.
Host, like I was saying, point yangu ni hii, I am pro change. I do not like the taxes that inakatwa and all those things. But my point ni, sorry for the repetition, if we have to change, let's teach our children, let's teach our friends, tukuwe na a system change. Hata uko kwa ofisi kwenye, make sure that the people who are there are people who are progressive in their thoughts. Hiyo tu ndio point yangu. Because tunaweza badilisha huko juu, yes, but then kama system ikorota na hapa hivi, really, there is, ni kama kumark time. That's all.
Okay, good. Yeko sawa, hapo unapiga vizuri. Hebu tell me about IBC. Before nirudisha mic kwa Esther, then ni welcome to mwingine anajiita Dennis, then mtetezi, then I'll still come back to Simon.
Aya, sasa IEBC, if the most important thing, number one, once you have a system change, hizo vitu zingine zinakuanga like a smooth sailing. Okay? We must have a system that is independent, just like the one it's independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission. Lazima ikuwe independent. It has to be. We must have our voice in the body that will foresee the process of electing our future leaders. Isikuwe ni, I don't know how that will happen. Sorry? Kuna mtu anaongea?
Ni wewe.
Nilikuwa nasikia ni kama kuna mtu ni sorry.
Kuna mtu ame-unmute. Let me mute her. Okay.
Okay. Let's make sure that our voice is heard kwa IEBC. Alafu, there is one thing that I have liked over the past few years. The fact that tulienda different schools, you know, people from Kisii wakaenda schools in KU, wengine wakaenda schools in Meru. We have interacted and we have shared our problems, okay? You know, you have a friend mwenye mlikuwa naye campus, mnajua kulala njaa ni nini. Tutoe this mentality that wetu kwa akili. Because I have a friend of mine ni Meru. Nilikuwa namuuliza siku nyingine, ndugu, sasa unasikiaje vile Kindiki ameingia kwa serikali? And he told me something that really touched my heart. Akaniambia, I do not know that kwa sababu Kindiki anijui. Because this is a guy who would come to my inbox, I am not a Meru, aniambia bro nitumie 500. So he shares my problems. So this thing that we have, that, you know, Ruto ako Embu, Gachagua amekuja hapo, there are some things that are despicable zenye Gachagua amefanya, but just because he is the son from the mountain, there are people who are cheering him. So who are these people that are cheering the same people who are molesting our country? How do we make sure that we change that system yenye mtu amefanya vitu zenye kuna zingine? I was listening to the impeachment, some things are very, very evident, and then we have people cheering him for those things. Eti kwa sababu eti juu haupendi Ruto, now you approve vitu zenye Gachagua amefanya just because ni mtu wa nyumbani. How do we make sure that we eliminate those things, even as we look to have an IEBC that will be truthful and honest and transparent? how do we make sure that wale watu wenye watachaguliwa na hiyo IEBC yenye ni transparent, how do we make sure that those people are genuine people, ni watu wenye hawana tribal mentality in their head, because this thing of tribalism itatusumbua wadau. So it's ni injili tunafaa ku spread across, make sure that when these problems zinatuface, if I had people like my Meru friend wenye ni watu 500 who have that mentality that we do not care who is the vice president, who the president is, as long as we have services hapa chini, as long as we have a level playing ground to you know, to meet our needs, to put food on the table. That's the most important thing. So it's a systems change. Usikue na rafiki Mkikuyu anakasirika eti Gachagua anasumbuliwa na anajua that there are things that he is involved in, corruption, he is involved in so many other things, na sasa unamhurumia just because ni mtu wa kutoka nyumbani. So let's not just address the issue ya president ameenda kupeana pesa wapi. Even as we call out those bishops, those church leaders who receive things, you know, just because they need to support someone, pia sisi wenyewe tujiangalie, the people around us, our friends, our spouses, our yes, so that ikuwe ni a overhaul to change mentality ya the whole country, because unaweza badilisha mtu mmoja huko juu, but then what happens hapa chini kwa ground? I think that's all. Thank you for the chance.
Good. Lon, unajua kuna kitu moja siku hizi kwa hii platform siruhusu watu, sitaki tuwatakiane sisi vijana wenye tuko kwa hii movement, tuna kazi yetu, tuna focus na wale, so I'm protecting that. Hata akuwe nani ama nani, sitaki mtu anataka watu wenye sahi wako kwa movement, nataka tuwataka wenye wako kwa movement. Vita yetu tutakuja kupigana baadaye.
Najua ni vizuri ku mention names, I take that back, pole. Saa ingine unajua you get caught up in the moment.
Even though get my point, si vizuri sahi sisi watu wenye tumebaki kwa movement kupigana sisi, that's my point. Wacheni tupigane na wale, then hii ingine baadaye tutakuja kupigana sisi wenyewe. Meanwhile, wacha kwanza tu focus na hawa. Sasa juu tukianza hii kuwataka Morara hapa, sijui mwingine pale, tumejimaliza. Sijui umeget
to address issues zote. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Like,
get a point kwanza.
At the end of the day, yeah, maybe that's a good beginning point. Yeah.
Rukenya,
naweza shukia mwingine. Yeah, I'm home.
Haina mambo, sijui ulienda wapi?
Habari zenyu?
Okay, then
hi, mnanisikia?
Uko hapa bado, Dennis Okoth? Are you here? EFF unajua kwa nini yakupea mic? EFF network yako inasoma ba moja. Nichenda kukupea inaanguka.
Habari zenyu?
Nataka Rukenya utangulia alafu tuingie EFF. EFF angalia internet.
Kopoa.
Rukenya.
Kwa hivyo mnanisikia ya?
Tunakusikia.
Kwa maoni yangu, I think tunadwell sana na yaliyopita, na kwa sahi haitusaidii, and the main agenda ni Ruto aende. Because the moment we get a new government, we'll be able to tackle the old issue. Saizi tukishinda tukiconcentrate na nani alifanya, sijui Uhuru alifanya, alienda akashuka, at this point haitusaidii. Kwanza tutoe huyu mtu. Then secondly, about the churches pia wana to disappoint, because the moment wanachukua hizo pesa na wanajua pesa zimeibiwa, haziendi kwa zile njia zinafaa, kwa zile mambo zinafaa zifanyike, hazifanyiki, pia wanatufail. Tena wananchi, kwanza especially Nairobi, they know what is happening. Mtu amekuja ni mwizi na watu wanamkimbilia, wanakaa wanamworship. Tutalan mpaka lini? So we need to wake up as Kenyans. Kwenye tunaelekea tuelekei mahali pazuri. Hiyo ndio maoni yangu.
EFF.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sasa hapo manze, sijui ni nini leo inawaka red yako. I don't know.
Lakini
Guys,
unanipata.
EFF tunakupata sasa, and EFF akiingia guys, nimeweka namba hapo ya nini ya sadaka ya data. Niwekeeni hapo sadaka ya data, tukiendelea na gumzo nikuje niondoe. Good. Na mwenye atatuwekea sadaka ya data mimi nitasema ni nani, tuondoe hiyo namba. Hapo chini.
Unanipata sasa.
Kabisa.
So greetings to all freedom fighters in Kenya as well, across Africa and in diaspora. Kuna hii mambo ya Matiang'I, and so sometimes I'm disappointed and discouraged at the same time, because wenye tumekuwa tuliona ile leadership yenye Matiang'I alikuwa anatoa, kuua watu wetu, he killed a lot of people. Like mimi Matiang'I and Uhuru, they don't, hawawezi simama mahali ati penye ati nisimame niwache kufanya shughuli zangu. They locked the country when they left our people to a point that hadi saa hii ukiangalia economy venye iko, it is because of Matiang'I and Uhuru. Walitufinya, wakatufinya. That time kama wewe ulikuwa wanabiashara, they can tell you that these guys walikuwa wanatusukuma, wametusukuma mpaka kwa kona. They are the same people who are forcing issues. Yani walitufanyia vitu to a point that I don't even think that I can face Matiang'I. Hata sijui kama naweza taka kusikia hata mahali anatajwa together with Uhuru and Ruto. These people are the same people. Our watu. So I want to tell our people that we do not want this xenophobic vote ati penye uko 50-50 ati unajiuliza sijui Matiang'I ama no. We do not ati tukisema Uhuru ni mbaya ati watu wa mlima wanaanza sijui kuamuka sijui mtu. No. We are not here for popularity. We are not after we are not crowd chasing. We are not after popularity. We are here to change. Na change sio kila mtu atakubali. Na kama venye nilisema juzi, hii Kenya kuisha regime is a big elephant yenye tumekubali ikakuwa kubwa sana. So we need to we will depend on all factors zenye zitaileta chini. Gachagua akiamua kuchukua some mulima votes, we don't need those. Hizo ni za Gachagua, wacha asonge nayo. Amegawa za Ruto. Sisi zetu ni za kuconvince vijana na kila mtu ambaye anatamani change ajue ya kwamba we are here and we have signed for this cause. There is nothing that is going to make us look back. We are not going to turn back. We are focused. Ours is change. Ours is change. All we want is change. We want tunataka kuleta solution because we have the solution on unemployment in our country. We know how we can solve the question of unemployment. We know so hizi vitu, it's not like tunabahatisha ati tunafikiria ati Matiang'I akiamuka ati watu wengine wanaanza kuingiza baridi ati sasa itakuwa aje. We are not here because of Kisii votes. No. We are here because we want change. We are focused because we want change, and the only conversation we can engage on is that conversation that entails change. So I want to tell our people, do not be discouraged by this, to siasa duni tu kukuja to discourage hapa na pale. But all the same, atufai ku undermine our opponents atuone as if, for example, Ruto himself, hata ukimuona tu hivyo ati ground haijam nini, hatufai kuandamine, hatufai kuandamine. Tunafaa kujipanga, tunafaa kuequip our people. Let every one of us speak about change that we want. Let us not focus about other things. All we want is change. Let us tell our people about the change that we want. I think that is the only way enye itatusaidia kumove to the next step. Otherwise, the 80% of Kenyans are religious. That is, they are either Muslims or Christians. So if Christians, if vya mabishop venye inakuja, if they can stand, if they can stand, though I know ni token imeisha, some of them ni token imeisha, wanataka kulinew token na Ruto. No, some of them. Yes, please. Yes. So
ni mtu aliunmute.
Oh, okay. So I know some of them ni token imeisha and wanataka waitwe huko. Tumewaona mara mingi wakiitwa huko, so we want them to prove us wrong. Tujue wasimame, kama they are for change, let them stand with their integrity. The church iko na jina mzuri, unless waipake matope venye wameipaka hapo previous. Hapo nyuma hatukuwahi kuwa na mahali ati watu wanaenda kuandamana kwa kanisa, but so far umesikia, uliona wakati wa maandamano watu wakienda kwa kanisa na kusema this guy amekuja sana, wakati wa reject finance bill. So we need to stand as firm as we were on that time, as firm as we were at that time. Let us continue pushing, na ndio nasema hii maneno ya nini ikue ya kutengeneza structures iendelee kukua strengthened. We need to come up with system yenye you cannot tell people ati hii ni mbaya na hauna ile mzuri. So tunataka structure watu wakae chini, kama ni inject party ikae chini, itupatie proper structures yenye tukiambia the 4 million graduates ambao wako unemployed in the streets, tukiwaambia we need change, they can see what we have in hand. So this is what I'm saying. We need to plan, we need to plan ahead and we need to be smart, because huyu jamaa anajua majority of our people are ignorant, poor, and they are naive. Many of them don't want to be associated with knowledge. Ukienda mahali unataka kuelimisha watu, you can realize that apart from very young people who are ready to listen, watu wetu wengi they know so much to a point that they can't listen. Ukitaka kuambia kuhusu vile Uhuru amefanya, watakwambia Uhuru ni kingpin, sijui nini, but this guy is the one ameharibu, and we cannot, they can't listen. Ukitaka kuambia kuhusu vile Uhuru oh my god, kindly mtu amewasha mic, kindly mute so that tuelewane. So this is what I'm saying. Let us put ourselves together. Let us put structures that even we can tunaweza vutia those who are outside. There is something that you can offer that watu wataona, sure, this is the option. We are offering them a solution. So I want to give it unto us that to lose focus. Let us focus. We know what we want. If anything else, ni change peke yake. All we want is change. We want change with all these education structures. We want policies that stand for our people. We want policies that stand for, kama mtu amesomea nas, let us have a policy that the minimum, we have at least a minimum amount they can be paid. Hii maneno ya mtu anaingia kwa private sector amesoma anapewa 10,000. Very unfortunate. Mtu ni qualified teacher anaenda to a private school anapewa 10,000. Hata mambocho wanapewa more than that. It is very unfortunate. So what is that language that will bring teachers to inject party? What is that what is that language that will bring all the graduates watakuja watajua, if we support this party, it has solutions on our unemployment, it has solutions on our education systems, it has solutions on our agricultural activities, it has solutions on our security issues. It has solutions on our, devolution, and it has solution on corruption. For instance, we have a lot of cases. Unasikia mtu as I am winding up, we have a lot of cases. Unapata kwa kijiji fulani, unapata ati mtu amenajisiwa, na kwa sababu mwenye amefanya rape akona pesa, hiyo kesi inakuwa. Tunafaa kuwa na inject kwa ground yenye inapea watu hope. Yule mtu mwenye ananyanyaswa kisheria, tunamsimamia, tunasukuma mpaka anapata haki. Why are we not sending chiefs in prisons? There are a lot of corrupt chiefs and policemen and women. Yeah? Why are we not collecting evidence tupeleke huyo watu walimu wenye wako huko? Mtu ni mwalimu na masaa ya kusomesha ako kwa bodaboda, akipeleka bodaboda, na mkicomplain anachukuliwa, anahamishwa. Why are we not taking actions on those people? How are we going to regain hope in the lives of people who have lost hope? So we need to put structures to a point that in that village, people will realize there is someone new who have arrived. Because nyanyaswa na chief, there is an office nearby whereby you can go and report the case, and people will be mobilized to take an account of everything that is going on. So that is what I'm saying. We can stand, we can structure, we can sell hope to our people. Si hii mambo ya gazeti, mambo ya kukuja wanapewa 200 no, structures that kila hata hao watu wazee watajua someone's inject party is on ground, inject party is healing, we have hope, we have what it takes to lead this country and to lead it to change. So thank you very much. I'm still hanging around so that I can give other people a chance to talk. Thank you.
Host.
Okay.
I am a communication practitioner. Spendi ku interrupt,
I can also take questions, please. I can also take questions. Yeah.
Okay. There is something I want to say real quick nishuke so that nipea watu wengine chance ya kuongea. Before I say that, really, I appreciate the fact that we are like-minded. We want the same thing. Maybe what we do not have is a structure of how to get where we want to get. So first, it's good we know that democracy is progressive. Development ni progressive. It's a process. It's not an event. It's not a demonstration that we'll have on a certain date and then we change the whole thing. It's a process. We will keep changing clauses in the constitution. We'll keep removing people, installing other people, so that maybe when we look into the future, maybe 20 years or 30 years or 50 years from now, if Mungu atatufikisha hapo, we shall have made progress. But, I tend to think outside the box, and I believe all of us are smart enough to try and see things from different angles. There is something that I want to ask, alafu, I would want to hear your honest observations on the same. Because my thinking is a little bit unique. Now, you have to understand that I am for changing the entire system, to badilishe our mentalities. Even our children, wenye tutazaa, wakuwe ni watoto wenye, wako progressive. Isikuwe ni kutoa mtu mmoja, ukiinstall mwingine kama system ni mbaya, they just comply to the system. Ni kama jamaa amesema, uko na polisi huko mtaani, anachukua corruption. Si Ruto amemwambia chukua hongo.
Loan. I have a quick one for you.
Yeah.
Or first finish, then ni combine niulize.
Okay. So where we have people, hata huko mtaani, you have mzee wa kijiji anafanya, so it's a systems change. But there is something that Deputy President said the other day. And this is how I tend to look at it. Let's say you are a boss and you want to implement some changes in your company or in your place of work. Some of those things might not necessarily sit well with some employees or with some colleagues. Let's say you're a man in your household. You want to transfer your kids from this school to another one because you want to do another project, because you want to invest for them some things that might not sit well with your wife, with your brothers, but you have to make some decisions that might not necessarily be popular to everyone. I want you to put yourself in those shoes. Then the Vice President said something. There are cases when we have interests of the public and interests of the state. Because like it or not,
What happened? Oh, nashangaa ni nini imefanyika. All of a sudden sauti imepotea. Duna nitakupea microphone and nataka kwanza mtetezi dakika moja, Semo mtetezi dakika moja. Naona watu wana drop. Okay, mtetezi, can you hear me?
Haya. Yeah, asante Mr. Dad. Na asante nyinyi wote mimi sina maneno mengi zaidi, ile nitasema tupendane kwanza sisi wenyewe hapa. Hata kurudishiana mdomo, tuheshimiane kabisa, na tukiheshimiana hata hao wanasiasa, huyo rais wa Kenya, huyo ni kama huyo tuseme hao wanasiasa wote wametuongoza miaka yote ni wasee. Wacha raundi hii hata wakubali waambiwe. Hata ukienda kwa maandiko wenyewe inasema si lazima yule mdogo haishi kusikiza yule mkubwa. Hata yule mkubwa anaweza sikiza yule mdogo. Na hatukosei, kuna mila, kuna jamii. Hakuna vile wanavyopanga hii county 47, hakuna jamii haina dasturi yao. Na ile udasturi mimi naonanga unakuanga wa kudhibitisha ni ukweli. Kwa hivyo hata mkisema kwa jamii tu mtu moja moja, hawa watu washauriane vile walivyokuwa 47 counties magavana, mtoe kila jamii wasee hivyo wasee. Hata kama ni Muislamu watoe mzee wao akuja aongee. Tuache kutukaa kama tunakorofishana saa hii, na hawa ni wasasi wetu kweli. Wanafaa wapumzike, waambiwe ni watoto wao.
Interjection, please guys. Hello everyone, good evening. I believe you are all well. Yes, truly a Presidency speaking. Okay, because mimi ni team injector, siogopangi kitu. I'm talking from the Inject Party headquarters, Kawasukari. Mukitaka ni change kwa video, ni waonyeshe niko kwa Inject Party headquarters. Niliwa request hapo, nilikuwa boardroom na nikawaambia kwamba nilirequest kwanza, nikakosa nafasi, na nikawaambia niko headquarters na niko na party leader, our movement party leader or our Inject party leader, the one and only Morara Kebaso, na nilikuwa nataka tu waombe hai, like aekele momentum, like aeke kama kuna nguvu imepungua mahali, watu warudishe nguvu tuende mbele, lakini nilikosa hiyo nafasi. Na kumbukeni kwamba nilikuwa nafanya hizo zote tukiwa kwa boardroom, na hata vile mnaongea mnasikia nikiongea niko kwa boardroom, nimetoka nje, na mkitaka niingie kwa boardroom mtasikia kuna kelele, like niko kwa boardroom. So nimekosa nafasi, na sasa hivi bado tunaendelea na tuko na meeting bado tuko Inject Party headquarters Kawasukari. Najua hapa kuna snitches, kuna wale wajinga wa gava vibaraka wa Ruto wenye wanapewa mamlaka, wanapatiwa orders na Faruku Kibet. Fuck you all, we're not afraid of you.
Sasa point yangu ni hivi kwako Baha. Okay, sasa unataka kutujulisha nini, ama umekuja kujiitania kwa polisi chenye unafanya? Unajua si kila kitu ya kuongea kwa umma ama ni juu ni social platform.
Dawaki pia sikiliza, naomba unisikize ndugu yangu. Mimi bro, mimi si fala, na mimi najua sisi tunafuatwa. So nikisema hapa ujue chenye nasema hapa ni kitu watu wacha wasikie. Nimeongea kitu asubuhi pale kwa live yako, nikapata DMs mingi bana, oh be safe, my friend, I'm not a fool. Nikiongea hapa, kitu naongea hapa ni kitu nafaa watu wasikie, kwa sababu hakuna siri, like tuko party headquarters. Yes, we are there. You come for us then if you want to come for us. Hakuna siri hapo. So I'm not here to call for for like
ulipata inbox. Point yangu ni okay, let's get to the point though.
My point is ukishasikia naongea kitu hapa ni kama vile asubuhi nimewaambia, nilifuatwa nikapatiana simu zangu zikaenda Kajiado, mimi nikaenda Mlima kulala. Mtu anakuja kwa inbox, oh usiseme siri zako, my friend, I'm not a fool, I'm not stupid. Nikicheza kadi moja ikiwake au watu usiwajinga, najua watatufuata.
Na mimi kuna kitu nataka nikuambia, hata wenye wanakuambia hivyo si ati na wao ni wajinga, hawakwambii hivyo juu ni wajinga. Get the point? Wasikilize tu, na ndio maana hii point yenye najaribu kusema, nyinyi mnataka kujipresent kama viongozi, nyinyi mtajipresent kama viongozi kwa raia aje? Wewe kazi yako ni kiongozi, utasikiza ama utakuwa kiongozi kila saa Wakenya wakikuambia kitu wewe unakuja kuambia wewe si mjinga? Wakati mwingine wanakuambia hivyo because they care about you.
Wacha niongee alafu utanijibu. Mimi nimekuambia na nimeishi kusema kwa live like niko ready ku listen wakati wowote. So wacha nimalize alafu utaniongelesha. I'm ready to listen. So can you please talk? Can you please talk?
Nilisoma. Tukusikia.
So listen guys. Okay, so listen guys. Yours truly a principal. Mimi kitu nasema hapa ni kitu like nataka kila mtu asikie. Watu wanatukimbiza si ati ni watu wajinga. They know what they're doing. And we also know what we're doing. We are for Kenyans. They are for their own personal gains. So hakuna kiongozi mwoga. Mimi nikikwambia like mimi niko mahali fulani najua like bro huwezi nitoa hapa. Labda mkuje military like mkuje convo. Na nikitoka hapa bro hutajua niko wapi. Next nakwambia okay nilikuwa na jana nilikuwa mahali fulani. So how is that a secret? Kesho nikiwaambia jana nilikuwa injected party headquarters kulikuwa na ABC. Okay, sasa hiyo ni siri gani? Kuna siri hapo. So my friend listen, I know myself. Na mimi pia ni mimi acha okay just in case you didn't know, mimi ni mtoto peke yake tuko mama yangu. Siwezi kubali kupata shida na napatanga shida bahati mbaya. So siwezi kujipeana niumie. So nikisema kitu ni kitu nafaa kila mtu asikie like hapo hakuna siri. Like as for now niko inject party headquarters kwa sukari. Okay, come for me. Kama utanitoa hapa nitakuita nganga. Na kama unanitaka peke yangu my friend utangoja ukufe. Tukimbishane basi na ukinipata fine. But because unafanya kazi ya Mungu na nyinyi mnafanya kazi ya ujinga ya ukora mna like kutuibia, Mungu hawezi kubali unishike. So like stop being worried. Na pia kama wewe ni kiongozi, hakuna kiongozi mwoga. Kama umeshaipitia hizo vitu zote za Morara like video zote zake, hakuna mahali Morara ameogopa kitu. Na kupea mfano mmoja na ngoja kwanza. Listen. Hebu nyamaza kwanza bro. Listen.
Kama mtu anakuja kwa live, ni vizuri utusikize hata sisi Hatutaki kusikia ati mtu anaongea vitu hai make sense. Unajua ni vizuri uongee kitu iko na mwelekeo. Hatufai kuongea vitu hasitusaidii. Hapa tumekuja kuongea maneno ile tunaweza shikana, tushikane kwa ground, tushikane pamoja, tuendeleze kushikilia Morara. Sasa wewe unatuongelesha ukituambia hiyo kitu itatusaidia nini? Unajua hata hiyo story yako sisikii vile inasema.
Kwa sababu usikizi. My brothers and sisters, nataka kuambia kitu moja.
Guys, Empress unaniuliza nini? Si mimi najua chenye na control. Bahati tupatane asubuhi. Hii masaa tutaendelea kushinda hapa tukifocus na hizo story zako. Naelewa kama asubuhi. Empress, unataka kunifunza kuhost ama ni aje? Juu mimi nilikuwa nishaelewa Bahako tipsy. Juu sielewi chenye anasema. Nilikuwa
Dawak,
Yes, asante.
I think what we need to hear from the Inject Party is more of solutions. Okay, Dio, you have found that there is a corruption that took place, 9 billion, 10 billion, whatever billions, but what are your solutions for those problems when you are elected into power? And I think that is where Morara still needs a mentor. He needs a political mentor, somebody to teach him on how he's going to address those things. Because he is exposing, but after exposing, what is your solution? I like one thing that he said, he's going to throw all of them in jail. I've never had any leader say that. Uhuru came in, he never said he's going to throw anybody in jail. Ruto came in, he never said he's going to throw anybody in jail. But we want to know, what are the solutions? We understand Munafuatua, we want, of course, they're going to go for the underdog because that is the only thing they can do. But we want to know, what are your solutions? So I think it is better for like one day you just bring Morara here, tuongee, atuambie solutions, and we see the way forward on how us as other people can go and convince people out there. Thank you.
Thank you, asante. Wakili.
Yes, dog. Hi, niaje?
I'm fine. Wewe ikoaje?
Mko sawa? Niko salama nashukuru.
Yes, welcome.
Poleni nilikuwa na shida ya ya connection. I keep on dropping off and on. Asanti kwa hii. Kwa wenye wanasikiza na wenye na contribute. First of all, acha niseme kwamba to all the full. I tried to join in the morning, but I couldn't because of nature of work and other things. But one of the things that I will say that when I get an opportunity to speak this evening is, first of all, to say that let's support this guy for the good job that he's doing. I'm personally looking for the better way of doing that, at least to appreciate you for having this space. Having been said that, secondly, what I want to say is I will be passionately running for a member of parliament in Kajiado West come 2027. It's something that is already doing preparation and plans over the same. And maybe just allow me to point out a few things, because at least we are living under the mercies of the Constitution that give us the freedom of speech, and it is which is endowed to every citizen of the Republic of Kenya. The first thing that I would love to say, and this is specifically to the work media and the team as well, is that as we continue to build and as we continue to inject, I would wish that we be a bit liberal in terms of dispensation, fair contributions for every member. We know that this is basically more to the youth and to the young people who are going to transform this country. I think someone talked to me through the inbox about whether I'm going to be affiliated to the Inject Party or not. I think this is not the right time to do that. Not saying that you're going to go to the UDA or you're going to go to the Ruto side, but I know there will be other political parties which will be coming up among the Inject Party, which is going to have a good number of candidates who are going to be participating into this. But I'm pretty sure also that there are also very young people also. If you look at the young man who was vying for Kasarani, there's a young man who was vying for Kasarani member of parliament the last election. This guy was my classmate back in high school. We went to the same campus, University of Nairobi, but he didn't manage to do. But he was doing enormous things. And that one does not necessarily mean because he lost is not going to be as useful as it is. So as we move on, I really request with a lot of honor that let's welcome all the ideas, regardless whether you are affiliated to the Inject Party or not, because at the end of the day, this is where we correct each other. Either someone will come with a divergent opinion or someone is going to come with the right direction that you want to do. There are things I know that you're not going to tolerate here, but let's just welcome opinions as they are. And I know we're going to be heading to a good place as we marshal up and as we plan for what is good for us. Because I know when it comes to politics, for you to win, it's a whole metrics choreography. It is not a one-day thing. It's not a one-day event. It's a whole thing that needs mechanism and other things for you to be there. And the most important thing that we've been lacking, and this is something that I even shared in COP Conference of Parties, which was happening in Baku, is that the biggest challenge that the young people have is less representation, especially where decisions are made. The young people are always left out. And the only way we can be able to make decisions is, first of all, for us to be part of the parliament. You can never fight from outside. You can always fight from the inside. Therefore, for us to really get this, we are trying as much as we can to. I know that today, for example, I was with Kalonzo Musyoka and a few other guys here and there. I know that everybody is, and this is basically, I always say that sometimes, although maybe not all the times, politics is a very selfish move. And I will explain why it's a selfish move. Now, when Matiang'I declares that he's going to be doing the bid in 2027, and the polls that he suggested that he's going to be doing the same, you guys saw a lot of criticism from different leaders, even some of the MCAs, like people in Nairobi. There's some MC in Nairobi who spoke about Matiang'I being the most corrupt CS and many other things. There will always be criticism either way. Either you are right or wrong. These things are always going to be there. But I'm still going to repeat that sometimes politics is a very selfish move. In fact, if they see that someone is really winning some bid, they might bring someone up to scatter the goodwill of the people that are going to support you. So expect anything. Anything can happen anyway. But because I know trying to unseat someone from power is the hardest thing in Africa, but we'll really build up this, and with anything that will come on board and that is going to be of really much impact towards the 2027 general election is going to be fully embraced. And I wish that it's still to the work. I wish that even as we move on the week, on the plans of the week, I know that this live is going to be happening like an entirely week. If we can also set aside maybe some days to have a space on X, or rather maybe we can also maybe probably be here and bring other people. I feel
Next
like
as well. Okay, I'll make sure we'll plan. Wakili, I'll call you. We'll plan. We maybe plan a day. We plan a day.
Yeah.
But at the moment we are live on YouTube as well as Twitch, and as wale watu wako diaspora as well mnatupata kwa Kick, Twitch and YouTube as well. Kuna demo yetu na to stream anaitwa Cyprian na TV ako YouTube, na sisi tuko hapa TikTok, and I think as well as ako Facebook.
Okay.
So I think ni Twitter tu hatupigi sahi, but I'm working on it. Tukuwe tunapiga zote.
The reason I'm asking for Twitter is because there may be people that I feel like they are not really into this platform. Maybe they either have not been using it as effective as it is. Because if you guys remember when Nelson Amenya was arrested for the sake of the issue of Adani, we really came out, and I think Twitter has a way by which it really moves masses. And I also have a very good network from outside the country that we can basically marshal for the sake of this. We don't even actually matter. We don't care either. We're going to have as many media houses as possible towards 2027 election. What I know is that any media that is going to be a youthful thing, that is going to be supporting the agenda for the youth for 20, because guys, you should actually expect that there's going to be a very, very huge impact in 2027. Trust me. I was talking to Wakili Ndegwa today, and he was telling me some secret meeting that was going on in Sagana and other places about every MP who voted for the finance bill, yes, and also those people who voted for Gachagua to go home, and the people on the ground are saying none of them is going to survive. So, you guys, you should expect that there's gonna be a very huge impact towards this thing. And then the other thing that we can be able to maintain this all along, we have 3 years down the line for us to go to these polls, is for the consistency of this idea. So that's a few things that I wanted to talk about. And I also
Can I ask you a question? Well, can I ask you a question, please? I'm so sorry for cutting you short. The only thing that I'm noticing you people are not understanding is the IEBC. When I say that, I mean that you know where Ruto is going to beat us the hardest is in the construction of the IEBC members, because at this time, I can assure you he's planning on how to put his people in the IEBC, people who are going to enable him go through. My question to you is, how is it, us as citizens, how can we be able to have our own representation in the IEBC? Because I can foresee him going and putting a few of his people there, a few of ODM people there, and once he has tampered with the IEBC, there's nothing much we can do. How can we be helped so that this IEBC that's going to be formed next time is an IEBC of full representation? Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Asante hata before uende sana. Kuna breaking news napata. Kidogo Abishi, kidogo. Niko nani ananiambia Rumina hapa. Rumina ananiambia good news. All donations za jana has been rejected. Good. Hilo kitu yenye tulianza asubuhi. Good.
Nilikuwa nasema hiyo hata. Unakumbuka nikisema kitu asubuhi?
That's a win. Sasa nimefurahia. Hiyo ni kitu mimi najua tulianza hapa asubuhi.
Wamerudisha 200k ya Sakaja na wamerudisha 2 million ya nani? Wamereject.
Hapo sasa.
Wamesema hakitaki. That's what I was saying in the morning.
Thank you. Sasa hiyo kitu hiyo ndio tunataka sana.
Chachi
imerudisha hiyo pesa.
Chachi imerudisha pesa. Sisi tunakimbia na chachi.
Hapo sasa. Na mtu aniambie platforms atufanyi kazi. Hapo sasa.
Na Wakenya wakatae pia kuchukua pesa ya nini mapolitician next. Hiyo pesa haramu waende nayo kwa mama zao. Hatutaki watu tukae na njaa sisi.
Wow. Yaani hiyo ndo kitu yenye naweza kuwa yani nimeachieve hata sasa naweza funga live hata nilale.
Usifunge, wacha kwanza wakili anijibu please.
Hapana ni jokes hizo program. Nile furaha. Wewe work mimi nitarudi after 2 hours Ndo kazi.
Yeah, okay, niko. Wakili.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna nitakujibu Sunday. So first is that you know, we are not new in the system that we've been having in this country. I think the only legacy that remains in this country as prompt is actually what Kibaki left, and that is why you see people are not really pondering on how the legacy for him looked like. If you look at the same with Uhuru Kenyatta, there are so many things that were also changed in the IEBC. And when the Chief Justice Morara when he nullified the presidential elections, if you remember well, there were some sort of threats as well, tending to punish him because of what he did. And actually, it came to pass because, if you remember well, there are so many judges who are not vetted to go to judiciary, to go to the Supreme Court, and there were around, I think, almost 67 of them. And this was as a result of the nullification of the results. So, but this is what I'm going to say. If you look at Article 118, and you can maybe read at your own time, and by the congratulations for the money that is being given back for that contribution to the church. Asante for that. Yeah, that's the way to go. Because saizi nilikuwa naangalia pesa ya counties hazijapeanwa. They are saying that 6.8 billion from the treasury has been released to the county government. Yet they are saying there are 2 counties that have not actually even utilized their money, Mombasa, I think, and other counties over there. There are so many shoddy things that are going on. And I think the most painful thing is the thing that actually touches the wananchi directly. And this is basically things that are actually basic, let me say basic needs to the wananchi. I can imagine now public university students are at home because the UASU members, or rather the lecturers, are on strike because of the deals. They have never agreed with the government for the increasement of the salaries and all that. And yet the government is seeing these things happening. More university, a whole university, I think, which has been there it has been operational for over 40 years. there were only 2 universities back then, and it is actually dying because you've seen the VC being summoned.
Wakili,
Yeah.
we understand all that. I just I feel like you're all over the place. Please tell us how we are going to be represented in the IEBC, so that when we see sketchy people being named, what are our options? Can we go to take them to court and say that it's unconstitutional the way they have been selected? What can we do?
So the criteria for selection for IBC and the computing of the officers is, as I said, if you read Article 118, it goes back to any amendment that happens, or rather any bill that pushed, which basically means it also touches to the very citizen who is down there, which calls for public participation. It's just the same way what you saw with the impeachment of the former deputy president. So this thing is supposed to be trickled down to wananchi, not really to vote, but to give your views. And it's not supposed to be pushed in a sense that looks like it is something that is being organized by the government. And this is where actually your voice can come in. So there are quite many avenues. If you see that Ruto is going to marshal Wakales and the people of his clan to be there or whatever for selfish ambition, then we can use the obvious channel. The first one is just know that for anybody who's going to be vetted in there, just like anything that they need to change per the bill and the amendment, they're going to bring this to the citizens and they're going to put your concern into the place. But if you see that this is not going to happen, or rather it's been pushed in a way that is not right, then we use the available mechanism for us to use. For example, we can go to the streets and say, we are not happy with this and this because they have not this merit, they have not met the gender rule balance, or let's say they have not have an inclusion either with what the constitutional mandate requires us to do. So such basis is what we can be able to do specifically for this. And for this, they can also probably till this a bit to make sure that it can be taken to the members of parliament, because, under this, it can happen in 2 ways. Either they bring it to you as a citizen, or they can take to your representative. Your representative is the members of parliament. So they can also do that one in the National Assembly. But either way, we will be keeping an eye off also of how the computation is going to look like, because we can tell. If you look at and I know that this is may not much ponder much into IBC, but it is the same thing that they probably gonna push is through. If you look at 3 key people in the government, look at Farouk Kibet. You really wonder what his role is. So if IBC is they're gonna bring such kind of things that are going to raise questions to the public, then Asandi, I think that is really the best options for us to follow. We can always present petitions as we've been doing this before. But the most important thing is for the voice of the people. Streets are open. The most important thing is for the voice of the people. For us to move there and say that we do not want this. So those are the best avenues for us to do. But we are still waiting, because there was the 21